Oh,
What do you think
Lord.
he's flanking?
Here we go.
Lola was right. Weeds are difficult to kill. I'm ready, Sage. We got this.
Enemy spotted mid.
You're up.
What the fuck?
Hostile KIA. Knife deployed. One suppressed.
40.
I know exactly where you are.
Last player standing.
105 Cypher.
Spike planted. My ult is ready. Back like I never left.
What the helly? The helly?
Remember, bullets hurt.
Save.
David Rock. Thank you.
What am I doing? I'm playing Valorant. Not in my elo. I mean, not in my elo, but not in my server, I would say.
Go, go, go!
Multiple enemies mid. Dropping.
Suppressing.
Your duty is not over.
Andrew, can I get a heal, please?
Last player standing. Flawless.
Stand tall.
Gotta go!
We are Valorant. We are fighters.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stick figure on mid and shit.
Yes, sir.
Shut your bitch ass up, man.
Oh, my bad.
I'll show them. Lintik kayo. Go, go, go!
Dropping smokes.
Reloading.
You all use the powerless.
Reloading.
Shutting down.
Reloading.
Enemy spotted.
Enemy B. Reloading. Gotta go! Or spike down.
One enemy remaining.
Enemy B.
Spike down B.
Oh, should have ADS. Fuck.
Outrun me. Charge and shoot. Easy enough.
Jeez, do you have a phantom skin?
Nah.
Go, go, go! Gotta go!
Roll for initiative.
I'm out of here!
Duck. Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted. Critical hit. Reloading.
One enemy remaining. Last round before the switch.
We lose everything after this.
Spend it.
I will hold up the sky.
What's this?
Dropping smokes.
Give me those back.
No one walks away.
Go, go, go.
Reloading.
Shutting them down. Two
I'll bait
suppressed.
for you.
Bye-bye. Here we go.
I know exactly where you are.
Welcome to my world.
Grenade.
Yeah, yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Next time, mind the heavy machinery.
Reloading.
Switching sides.
You know what we should do? I'll tell you. We should win.
Damn. Vanilla, what are you doing? Why are you popping on for? I did a 7-hour stream last night. I am not trying to do a 7-hour stream today.
Push them back. They're stepping on us.
Valorant should sponsor me.
Suppress
They're
it.
playing their game 24/7. Just sponsor me at this point. I'd be playing your game and I'd be spending hella money. I spent over $1,000 on this game. I swear to God.
Reloading.
It's stupid.
Throwing charge.
Should've just saved my money.
Enemy spotted. Train hard. Healing you.
Spike down B.
Repairing.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Pushing, pussy. Oh yeah.
Oh, you like that shit?
Yeah.
Aye, where to?
Saw that. Jesus.
Ah, shite, I lost my pet rock.
Jesus.
Knife deployed.
Cheese. Jesus. Jesus. Jesus.
Go there, B.
Enemy spotted B. Many enemies B.
Have one of these.
Flash.
Got one. Enemy spotted B.
Here.
Shutting them down. One suppressed.
One enemy remaining. Spike down B. 30 seconds left.
Reloading.
Flash. Attack when they're suppressed. I cut their options, they make mistakes.
Gotta go. Go, go, go. Quick feet, quick trigger. I'm out of here.
Knife deployed. Two suppressed.
Go away. Enemy spotted mid.
'76 Viper.
Enemy spotted A.
Spike down A. One enemy
Be
remaining.
faster. Last one down. Reloading. Reloading. If you must fall, then fall near me.
Could I have a drop? Thank you. Take out Cypher.
I'm out of here.
The hunt begins.
Welcome back.
Enemy
One
spotted.
suppressed.
If you do celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you don't or don't have anything better to do today, then here is almost 5 hours of me talking about video game myths and urban legends. This is a compilation of 3 of my recent videos covering the video game myths and urban legends iceberg, in which this video I've compiled all parts and layers into one video. So if you haven't seen those, this is a great way to consume all the parts in one go. If you have already seen the parts, it is unfortunately mostly the same content without much change besides a few small
Spike planted.
there from the first releases of the videos. But I've heard many of you say that you listen to my videos in the background, and I personally love putting on long ass videos.
Last player
and
standing.
Don't care.
making up this name. Now if that's lacking Luigi in the game, given Hero Brian is easily one of the most recognizable
race.
video game urban legends, and for good reason. He's mysterious, eerie, and
Flawless.
since the initial creepypasta popularizing the entity Hero Brian has been referenced countless times, even by Mojang themselves in an update.
Time to
that
stock back
stated
up.
They quote-unquote removed Hero Brian from the game, stoking the flame of mystery even more. Alas though, unless modded or boosted custom Hero Brian skins, you can't naturally run into this guy in vanilla Minecraft. But maybe in Minecraft 2, the sequel. I don't know, man. That Minecraft movie might just be bad enough to kill everything Minecraft ever. I did hear, though, and this is top secret information,
Let's
that they
go.
are casting The Rock as Hero Brian in the sequel.
Suppressing.
Bigfoot in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas dates back to be one of the earliest internet video game urban legends to really blow up and have a lot of people believe it. You know, there was countless searches, video documentaries, forums, searching for it before it even actually existed. That is without modding. Rockstar Games would come to later reference the urban
Spike
legend
down A.
Redemption's Undead Nightmare DLC with a side mission involving a race of Bigfoot, and upon neutralizing the last one, you get a trophy called 6 years in the making, referencing the time in between San Andreas and Red Dead Redemption's release dates. They would later again reference Bigfoot in Grand Theft Auto 5, but nothing compared to the late 1999 after Bigfoot was
Knife
part of
deployed.
already hundreds of Easter eggs to reference.
Two suppressed.
Maybe not hundreds.
One
My
enemy
ult's
remaining.
ready.
The L is Real 2401 is for me one of the first urban legends I fell for when I was a kid. If you don't know my favorite game ever, still to go back to even today, is Mario 64.
My ult
It's my
is
top
ready. Where to
favorite
go?
game. So of course I would end up falling for the myth and putting in many
Gotta
attempts
go.
at unlocking Luigi in the game, given he was also my favorite.
Go, go, go.
And of course, that's where the star fountain in the courtyard comes into play, and the plaque reading L is real 2401. Back in the day, many assumed the number had something to do with how many times you needed to do something in the game to unlock Luigi. Me personally, I remember
Yo, I'm
attempting
like
to run
low-key,
the fountain that
like,
many times, and I got
carrying.
all of about probably 7 times before I gave up on the
Shutting
Those
them
3
down.
kills
backed out
from me.
with no new information or head.
Enemy spotted mid.
Down
Second
my team
Reloading.
only to get 2 kills. Oh fuck, 114.
One down.
Early development of Super Mario 64 was revealed through excerpts from a 1996 Japanese strategy guide for the game. These would prove that there was actually plans to include Luigi in the game, but was cut due to memory issues, with Miyamoto even stating, then we were going to include him in a Mario Bros. Style of game, but because most users were only going to have one controller,
Spike planted.
and for that reason and others, we decided not to. So basically, Luigi was planned for the game from the very beginning, and many believe that the L is real 24
Enemy kill.
character. However, that's
One enemy remaining.
play.
years ago during the huge Nintendo.
I'm out of here. Shocking.
And this week we got some really interesting stuff pertaining to specifically Super Mario 64 and even more specifically things like early voice clips.
I'm outta here.
And early models where Luigi were found to mention the
Go,
fact
go,
that
go.
he got super close to being
Out of charges.
at least closer than we
My
could have ever
advice?
imagined.
Don't get
With
shot.
Luigi's model now being able
Anyone
to be
need it?
actively placed back into the game, you can finally see what he would have truly looked like had he been included in the final game. The cherry on top is the recap in exactly 24 years and 1 month to the day, on the day the Nintendo 64 parts of the leak happened from when Super Mario 64 released. 24 years and 1 month. Now, if that seems too good to be true, it might be. Maybe I'm not fully convinced that someone deliberately did this, and it wasn't more of
Shutting them down.
a really strange coincidence. But many are convinced that that was the origin of the one of the statue way back in the day. If you want more coverage on this, I recommend the legendary YouTuber Slinky Box's coverage of the urban legend come true, and hell, just watch Slinky Box if you are. In hindsight, with all the new information confirming Luigi was meant to be in the game but was cut, it adds even more weight to the theory. In some ways, it turned out to be true.
No one walks away.
4 years and a month later. The idea of extra hidden Pokemon in the series has been happening since the first
Spike down B.
the original Game Boy. Given that there were so many
One enemy remaining.
natural things, there were more
Like I never left.
Survivor's rest. I'll clean up.
ultra rare Pokemon, but we'll talk about that one later. Missing No was one of the earliest
this place
and
is
most
nice,
popular
but not nice enough to
Pokemon
die
urban
in.
legends.
Let's win and get
It
out of
first
here.
appeared in Pokemon Red and Blue as a jumbled bunch of code and textures making up his name and appearance. The glitched asset form of Missing No isn't the only version of him you can run into in Red and Blue, with others including fossilized versions of Aerodactyl and Bluetop sprites from the Cuba City Museum. There is also another version that uses the ghost sprite
Kill
from
all
Pokemon
your
Tower,
opponents.
making it pretty creepy to run into this glitch in these forms. Since then,
Knife
Missing No has
deployed.
shown up in a few more Pokemon entries, and it
One
seems like
suppressed.
it's this consistency in the development of the games to include some form of a Missing No character for memory purposes or something. None has been as impactful as the first iteration of Missing No, and for that reason it's gone down as one of the most popular video game glitches of all time.
The hunt begins.
Target
Speaking of
86.
Pokemon Red and Blue, there was another infamous urban legend in which many players believe you can find a secret legendary Pokemon in
Spike planted.
my
The
world.
Pokemon in question was Mew, who was already one of the rarest Pokemon to get in the original game, and this was seemingly an easier way to get Mew. Before getting on the SS and ship,
Your
you
duty
find
is
a
not
small
over.
Suppress it.
ship with a
That's
lone
awesome.
front. Since you don't get
Too
to
suppressed.
possible,
Throwing charge.
causing theories of what cropping up told of trading with Pokemon that already learned serve before the ship
Flashbang.
One enemy remaining.
Harder to access the water in this part is only that is unless you were willing to hack the game, of course, granting the ability to surf, whether or
I've
not
tried explosions.
glass
Not the fan.
there is no view or anything at all on the island or under the truck. The origins of this rumor
If I power down, restart me.
speculate it
You
came
leave me
from
for scrap,
one person
I'll
who
kill you.
navigated the rumor and it eventually became infamous enough to be talked about online. Due to the strange nature of the lone truck, it's only natural players' imagination to take it to a level like believing there is a rare item or Pokemon underneath.
Let me revive
Alas,
Angel.
the only way to get Mew back in the
Preach.
game was to befriend Miyamoto himself and he'd send you one of the 20,000 he was hoarding in a Pokébox.
Should I wall this, Sammy, or nah?
You'll find that a lot of
Suppress
entries
it.
on this iceberg that turn out to be true
Stay down.
in respective games, as these are usually easier to see the myth's origin since they are achievable in the game rather than in creepypasta.
I know exactly where you are.
Arcade machines killed players. One of the oldest urban legends.
They're all A
is
again.
current infamous legend is from the original
Flash.
Mario Bros. That told of a mysterious minus world. The game having 8 worlds, the premise of a mysterious extra world sounded intriguing to many players' favorite game back in the day, so the rumor began to spread quickly along with
Flash.
how to get to the game.
Spike
The
planted.
glitch became so infamous it was even covered in a very early issue of Nintendo Power.
One enemy remaining.
More well known. The glitch itself isn't the hardest to pull off, but it is a little
Knife
tricky
deployed.
while flipping Mario through the ending wall in 1-2.
40.
They have no
I don't know
right
why I
to do
fucking
that.
started just spraying.
Infinitely loops, making it unbeatable. This
Reloading.
has something to do with some technical
Match point.
jargon
I
that
should
Miyamoto
towards
couldn't
the
decrypt
eternal
himself, so
rest.
who knows how much more they can unearth from this fossil of a game. It seems like it's infinite. There's no bottom of this barrel. There is a bottom of the bottle, and Miyamoto
Gotta go.
reaches it every night. It's too much. We're only
Gotta
gonna be able
go.
to be playing this guy this much. We got way more.
I'm 90% sure they're coming B.
The ET
What is
Atari
that?
game is known for
I'm
a lot of
90%
things,
sure they're
but
coming B.
Perhaps the most popular was the rumor of the
Go,
failed
go, go.
game's overstock being
Did
buried.
Weber put her wall down
Shut
over
them
there?
down.
This was such an absurd concept that the rumor quickly fell into internet urban legend status, but after a few decades, an effort was made to dig up the old landfill to finally find the truth. There turned out to be over 1,000 recovered copies of the game in the New Mexico desert. I don't think you could get this urban legend status nowadays with how bad video games are
Fragment.
selling. I mean, holy shit, thank God consoles have
Sorry.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
Games about aliens that should have been joked about them
Pickaxe her.
overpriced for what was offered. Expected to see
Last player standing. Clutch.
I think
Yo, Doodle, you fucking suck, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
I hate her. What do you mean?
Nah,
I feel
bro.
like history's gonna repeat
Activating
itself
kill mode.
soon.
Nah, you ain't hear her like I hear.
Press default.
We're really
How much did you hit her for?
Dumbass
Nah,
theories
hella,
I 100%
bro.
believed and bought into
So
as a kid.
50?
As
Okay.
a kid who grew up with the cartridge era of video games falling out of style, I still played a lot of these forms of games, and man, they were really unreliable, at least the ones I had. This was a strange fix that originated out of
Need a
the
drop.
simple idea of
Angel,
being
can you
Yeah,
please
thanks
buy
over.
me a vandal?
I'm out.
but
Thanks.
most of the time
Thank
the
you.
games didn't
Gotta
work
go.
due to fault connectors or pins.
Shutting them
Even with
down.
This, it seemed for a while that the blowing into the cartridges, it worked. I was there, it worked. This method, of course, was as unreliable as the actual game cartridges themselves, but if you gave it a good 3 or 4 tries and heard that start up Donkey Kong Country 3, man, ooh, that was clean living. In reality, it was like reset in a better position.
Enemy
You
spotted
couldn't
B.
tell me otherwise as a kid. I was blowing into the back of the video games like I was breathing. And it turns out to be worse for you than being
Rest.
beneficial. Listen, if you're playing the game
Hi,
enough,
I'm
it
pissed.
doesn't give it a chance to really get dust on it, making it useless to play.
Enemies
Now,
healing.
not only do you have
One enemy remaining. Spike down B.
Mustn't be main all the way in the corner.
That copy of Contra 3 to Alien Wars running now, buddy.
Defenders win.
And a bunch of other times
This
after
is one
that.
of the best and most popular from the beginning of this trend. The story tells of a certain section of the original Pokemon games on Game Boy, specifically the section Lavender Town, which housed this ghost Pokemon in the game, along with a Pokemon graveyard. Already with a creepy theme, this area needed a pretty creepy backtrack, and only being equipped with the insanely intricate and high-tech Game Boy soundscape, it ended up being ear-piercing. It still achieved what it was supposed to, which was unnerving the player, and it was so creepy that the theme inspired the story of the Lavender Town syndrome. It was a story covering a syndrome, an incident, if you will, where a bunch of young Japanese kids who played the original Game Boy version in the 90s were driven to mass psychosis, often committing acts like died, and complete loss of sanity. Obviously, today this is as transparently fake as Sony's consumer interest department, but back in the day, this disturbing concept didn't set off any alarms in my young brain as I watched a young Mutahar covering the game in the classic creepy gaming series on YouTube. Shout out. I don't know what did it, if it was the creepypasta itself, Mutahar's soothing but equally unnerving voice, or Iced Even by Kevin McElroy clanging in the background, but this stuff used to get me back in the day, man. It was a time and place thing, I think. You know, nowadays you have to artificially manipulate decade-old vines to get a reaction out of even me. I mean, I'm pretty desensitized that the 21 kid running in on himself has to, that does something to me. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 had a bunch of stuff not making it into the final game due to memory limitations, a common theme back in the day. This unfortunately limited the number of levels that they could put into the initial release of Sonic 2, with the developers even cutting out all but finished stages. The most popular was the Hidden Palace Zone, a level that would have taken place in an underground cave and was basically fully finished, but was the first on the chopping block for cutting levels. The level would later serve as the foundation for the level by the same name as Sonic and Knuckles. Not to mention, the level finally returned to Sonic 2 in the 2013 remaster, where they added an entrance to the level, where in the original you'd fall into a deep spike pit, with the level being used in advertisements and such before the game's release. Since it was so close to being complete, players were pretty surprised to find the level missing, and rumors began on how to access the level. Of course, there would be no way to access this level in the original Genesis and Mega Drive versions of this game, just a strangely out-of-place death pit that players couldn't get out of. I'll take a nice courtyard fountain any day compared to this, man. Like, Tails couldn't even get his ass out of that. Diablo 2 goes down as a classic for many reasons, but one of the biggest reasons for me being a big meat guy is the secret bovine level. If you're unfamiliar, this was a once rumored, now confirmed secret Easter egg level located in Diablo 2 that featured a unique enemy. The enemy in question is the Chick-fil-A cows, aka, as the game denotes them, hell bovines. To get to this secret area is actually pretty simple, as all you need to do is combine a Wart's leg with a town portal, which will transform your portal to access the mysterious beef land. Before it was nerfed, this area actually was used by players to farm experience and items, as the cows were more of mean enemies featuring slower attack and being weaker overall, dropping rare items and a lot of experience for how easy they were killed. It was a no-brainer. It was eventually patched out, and the level now lives on in references to the level in future Blizzard games and other companies referencing this notorious cow level. Give a gamer a toy gun and a dog on the screen and give them enough time, they're gonna get bored shooting the ducks and start taking pot shots at the mud. It's fucked up, but it's true. It doesn't help that the dog was made to be one of the most annoying characters in the early NES days, constantly snickering at the missed shots and ordering the player around. Listen, it's only a matter of time until you turn the zapper on yourself or the dog. One's gotta go, and it ain't gonna be me, alright? Unfortunately, in Duck Hunt on NES, the one most played back in the day, you weren't able to actually shoot the dog on the screen, cultivating rumors on how you could. I'm not sure how dark these got, but today you can find images of the dog's head being blown off, which is pretty classy stuff, guys. Jesus. The dog was actually able to be shot in the Versus Duck Hunt game that was playable in arcades, but unlike the realistic fan depiction, he would simply show up with gunpowder covering his face, angry at the player. So I guess technically this myth turned out to be true in a way, just not in the way everybody wanted. If you really want to do this nowadays, just load up Smash Ultimate and shoot the Duck Hunt dog with the RPG Snake has, and it's the same thing. It gives the same effect. Ocarina of Time is a perfect game to many. Not to me, but to many it's the perfect Zelda experience. It may come as a surprise to those who fell in love with the game and its large world that there were actually some major plot and gameplay elements that were left out of the final release of the game. Ocarina of Time, like other Zelda games, as the early screenshots of the game suggest, the Triforce would have been an item the player could collect, and it would have likely played a larger role in the story. There is also a strange grayed out Triforce on the inventory screen that's never made use of, making many players believe it was actually still in the game, And to obtain the Triforce, you need to play a song by the name of Overture of Sages on the ocarina. It's unknown what this would have done in the final game had it been included, but it 100% would have been used to forward the story in some ways, as you've seen the Triforce in every other Zelda game. The myth finally came true in a way during a SGDQ run of the game in 2022. Runners used a method known as arbitrary code execution, and it sounds as complicated as it is. Basically, this was still technically a ROM-hacked version of the game, but without connecting with the original copy of Ocarina of Time externally. Don't worry, I'm just as confused as to what I'm talking about as you guys, but maybe if someone has
Match
knowledge of
found.
how this was actually pulled off, can leave it in the comments, and I'll pin it or something. Whatever it took to do this, it's pretty impressive, even adding in a post-credit sequence where we get to see an N64 version of Tears of the Kingdom, with it serving as Link being able to look into the future of sorts. But yeah, in terms of playing this back in the day, finding the Triforce is something that can be done. At least collecting it in full, like the game seemed to present in early development. Sometimes myths and urban legends of video games don't even come from anything in the game itself, but from something equivalent to mass gamer hysteria. Now, there are many cases of confirmation bias with things like punching fish in Animal Crossing, catching Pokemon, or pressing A in Mario Party to save your coins. I'm pretty sure that last one actually works, but it feels like it fucking doesn't. The idea is that rapidly pressing A during the catching sequence in Pokemon games will enhance the chances of a successful catch. However, thanks to looking at stuff like the game's programming, it's determined that many things like Pokemon's remaining health, ball type, and other factors that actually affect the capture, and pressing A a bunch that doesn't
Wait, I've a rock in my shoe.
Tried to tell anyone that back in the day, and they probably disprove you since it seems to work every once in a while over 30 minutes. This tactic has been burned into the minds of players for years, and even with newer games, they're still liable to do it. Hell, I was smashing the fuck out of my phone screen the first time I played Pokemon Go, but nothing that actually helped capture my. I feel like turning your phone off and throwing it into the river is one way to get Pokemon captured and actually trying.
Angel.
Yes, sir. How'd you just whisper in my ear?
I don't know.
Still kind of up in the air.
Weirdo.
There's actually more to discover. If you're unfamiliar, there is a
Knife deployed.
mystery, but basically the highest
3 suppressed.
Gilead, where you would find the origin of this mystery. A large legal part.
Flashbang.
Spike planted.
During the early development of GTA 5, before they realized just how much GTA Online was a moneymaker, there were plans for GTA 5 story modes. However, with the success of GTA Online, it seems the focus of Rockstar shifted to DLC for GTA 5, putting all their eggs into the online basket. This, of course, means they would have likely moved content planned for the single-player DLC and translated it.
Last player standing.
Mount Gilead mystery lies in the online heist mode, specifically the Doomsday heist. There are many ties to Mount Gilead.
Snack time!
Certain missions take place
Sorry.
on the mountain.
Only brought enough for me.
Jetpack to take out the main antagonist of the heist. Others believe that mystery is simply to show where to see the UFO, even if it's not for a completion. But with how deep the mystery goes, this seems a little too simple to be the only purpose of this giant world. At this point, there is likely never going to be an actual answer to this convoluted riddle unless something more is found in the base game, and that's because a lot of the developers who work on GTA 5
Shutting them down.
mystery don't even work there. They don't work at Rockstar. And if it were truly solved in GTA Online, there's no way this is the full version of the mystery, and the true purpose of the mystery may never fully be revealed. We should have got a jetpack in the single player. That's all.
You fought well.
Spike planted.
The original Portal does a lot of showing and not telling the story to a point where one of the main characters in the game, who is making all the gears turn in the background, isn't actually ever shown to the main character. That, of course, is Doug Ratman, a
Last player standing.
aperture from the development of the advanced technology they were working on. Outspoken about the
Refreshing.
technology, turning on them since it was show. I noticed it was updated
got
He
this.
struggles with this though as he was slowly losing his mental as he is diagnosed with schizophrenia, and after the lockdown he was no longer able to take his meds. GLaDOS ends up attempting to use this against Ratman, bringing the lockdown and deaths of his co-workers was all a simple hallucination on Ratman's part, but he knew better, and with his extensive knowledge of the facility, he was able to hide in quote-unquote rat bins where the player could see different drawings and scrawlings on the walls, and even
Suppress it!
slowly delve into a dark place due to his mental disorder. The famous phrase, "The portal and cake is a lie," was a telltale sign Doug left behind for the main protagonist, Shell, from Portal 1, to let them know not to trust GLaDOS in one This was due to
they were
the
here.
fact that the cake was always promised as a reward for completing the trials. Even though he's never actually seen the game, he was always constantly as he specifically chose Shell and a lot of other subjects.
Spike down A.
Radiant kill.
Spike planted. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
How this whole thing started is really impressive, but can be a little confusing.
I'm outta here.
Randomly running into strange scribbling on the walls by some maniac may seem a bit strange to come across at first, but after realizing the purpose of it all, it brings
Drop in a smoke.
Due to time, I'm not going to go into details. Just know that the David Bowie want to know more about Doug, check out Skyrim.
What will it be
lore
this time?
video,
Have
which
any
shows
patterns
much
emerged?
more detail about Batman's backstory and roles in both Portal 1 and 2. It's a very interesting watch and goes much more into detail. The Hell Valley Sky Trees are some
I'm lucky lagging.
video game urban legends online, so I'm going to keep this one pretty short. The Hell Valley Sky Trees are
I literally spiked up to 700.
Mario in the Shiverburn Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy.
Suppressing!
There are two that are visible, but the pattern repeats, with two more being behind the cliff texture. They don't have anything to do with the level, the game,
Multiple
or
enemies B.
the Mario universe as it seems. They are simply a 2D texture.
You will not kill my allies.
Spike down B.
It is almost sad treating these guys use themselves, but it's likely will never be the same. Still haven't gotten one. Many players have speculated on simple Easter egg references Japanese folklore creatures known as Gudama and
Spike planted.
Woo! My ult is ready.
perhaps these are just keeping an eye on Mario. Come up there.
You had your fun. My turn.
Last player standing.
Burn all the weed. I do think they are some of the creepiest things you can find. They seem to be deliberately made creepy and hidden away from plain view to only be seen by those who have the sixth sense. You know, the sixth sense.
Okay,
the one that
we know
tells
the
you
drill.
trees are mugging
Stick to
you
your
down
roles and we'll
several
crush it.
hundred miles away.
Gotta go.
I've talked about the Lunar City Ghost Girl before in the video, so I'll quickly recap a few of the game in case you want to talk about it there. In Pokemon X and Y, after entering this building in Lunar City and taking the elevator up, you will be witness to a pretty unnerving cutscene. The lights will start to flicker as a ghost girl shows up right behind the player before walking by, or I guess sliding by the player in a pretty surreal way. There's no explanation for the ghost girl.
Knife deployed.
Share the same trainer type as the Hex Maniac trainer class. There are many mistaken other Hex Maniacs as the ghost girl. While this version of the ghost isn't seen again in X and Y, and eerily found saying the same thing the original did, but in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. These hauntings are nothing new for the Pokemon series, but this one is one of the most forward-facing ghost events, meaning it happened to a lot of players and with no explanation afterwards.
Spike planted.
And with all the Pokemon ghost entries I've covered in the past, this one still stands out to be one of the creepiest. The world of anti-piracy screens has taken on a whole new life online after the initial viral anti-piracy screens that started to pop up online a few years ago. This trend would take
My ultimate is ready.
anti-piracy screens and some
Last player standing.
Like I never left.
Last player standing.
A mock-up video was released. Perfect notes for something that they would have done first. It even has the
good shot. Human brains are hard to replace.
Go, go, go.
Mario Party characters behind bars, what you set at the camera, with the text reading. It's a serious pirate video game. All while the distorted music and demonic laughing is playing in the background. It's the perfect big anti-piracy screen referencing themes like the fun is infinite with the music choice and mocking up a really infinite screenshot. Doesn't hurt either. Great work on this one, and it really encompasses the feeling players had when they did run into these sort of screens back in the day. Everything from fear of the law.
Shutting them down.
These screens will always invoke some strange feelings whenever I see, which, hey, I totally naturally see this all the time. So buy your games back, support developers, unless they're Ubisoft, in which case you don't own them anyways. Get out of here.
Spike planted.
They're all free.
1 enemy remaining.
Pasta that became bigger than itself would really
I'm
convince
outta
us
here.
to go along with the original.
This is so your
He
ace.
started off as a gamer who's personally rare unreleased PS1 game.
It's over here.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Oh yeah, boo.
You're so crazy in this, my dude.
Okay, bro.
It was hard to decide.
My ult's ready.
You should have seen your faces.
As the series went on, it got less believable. But this
Jet,
doesn't take away
you
from
were
the
the
fact
winner.
that the project
So
as a whole-
powerful.
The creator team
Welcome.
came out later and also confirmed
What?
I'm outta
What's
here.
up?
and even admitted to things like story beats
You.
and the mystery of the initial
Yeah, I did.
For what?
What
What did you guys
You
do?
want a bait for you, Angel? You want a bait for you? They're running.
We didn't do anything.
But
Knife deployed.
and who
He saw me and I couldn't speak his mouth. Everybody was awake already. So I was like, hey.
Polybius is an internet urban legend that is so old that the original mention of the legend is even uncertain.
how pissed were they? Like, was she gonna like?
Spike planted.
Was it like?
Next. Here we go.
Ah,
That's through.
the
Shock.
Filipino grandmas, man.
Out of charges.
But you know what? Enemies fall to feet.
1 enemy remaining. Last player standing.
With no way to verify reports by tracking down original machines or incident reports.
Hi.
Did you fill
Fight's
them
not over,
in?
you know.
That
However,
that
many websites
no, not.
I
the story may have been fabricated
and
not
I
on purpose for internet fame, but just misremembering incidents like a couple of cases for gamers passing out while playing long sessions in arcades trying to beat world records, and a case of FBI seizing arcades and reports that the owner was using the machines for gambling and
Oh Lord.
these two may have been remembered as the same event,
Oh my
adding to the
goodness.
authenticity of the
Suppressing.
story, but alas, it seems like a complete fabrication. And until an original police machine pops up, I'll believe that it is. Even if, though, at this point, it's really hard to verify as there are many lots of machines out there.
Go, go, go.
I'm not playing.
If you somehow never heard of Polybius before, there are plenty of great videos online covering the full story.
Get lost.
Spike down. Attacker spawn.
The every copy of Mario 64 is personalized story is less of a fury and a dumb trend online that went a little too far and started something that, and it may never
He's
end.
dead
Now
like
I do
just
say
saying
dumb, but I do appreciate everything that came from this urban legend, including a lot of
Suppress it.
video and analog Mario for the uninformed and personalized Mario 64 theory tells of a special AI that was being tested
Spike planted.
back in that basically made each and every copy of
Is that A?
64 unique in its own way. This was a basic way of kind of explaining the many strange things that people claim are in the game, yet it's absent from other people's experiences. While this is 100%
Valorant.
it can't be explained kind of by school playground chit chat where kids' imaginations kind of went further than what was actually in the game. Kids trying to
How long are you saying it in the Philippines again?
This came to be a huge deal.
Drop in a
I've
smoke.
had my own strange experiences.
Next week Thursday.
Memory that
Shutting them down.
Last player
Because
standing.
it feels like you've been
One
there for
enemy
like
remaining.
a long time. A very long time.
Right after a few long minutes, the big boost
I know, I
showed
spent
up,
like
so we
2.5
started to float towards Mario.
2.5
The N64
weeks?
lost power. Now
Yeah.
it's just staring.
I know what must be done.
Now again, it's something I remember. as a
Jesus.
memory, but perhaps a confusing
Gotta
sad
go.
dream or misfortune
They're not
that
cheese
happened
hot
that
dogs,
day.
dude.
I don't think this adds any more weight to theories personally, but that was
Oh, cheese hot dogs?
how this dumbass
Those are good.
So many gamers in the 90s.
Clear to
I would.
engage.
I mean, yes, but not really.
It really messed them up.
Knife deployed.
I don't know.
So much so that rumors began to spread that there was a way to actually revive Era in the game after the fact. This is 90s Tokyo to another level, man. Hey guys, she's not really dead though, right? A few of the theories including using a random item known as the underwater materia, which only helps against the boss fight, emerald weapon, removing the time limit from the fight. However, many speculated that maxing this materia out would
Monster on the loose!
Water section in the Forbidden City, wherein they would find Aerith and be able to revive her from there. This and other
You had your
reasons
fun.
were obviously proven.
My turn.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
Had made a video titled "Revealing the Way to Finally Revive Aerith." That was obviously a prank for April Fools, but it
I will
pissed a lot of
fulfill my
people off.
purpose.
Come on, man, you can't play with people's trauma like that, bruh. Nah, I'm just joking. People are dumb. They get mad when they fall for something. It's in the present
I'm
peace,
outta
and
here.
it's probably just going to continue like
Who kept calling earlier?
I don't know. I don't know.
I've never really played Roblox all that often. You know, I'll sometimes go in there and check out the.
I saw that too.
User creation Robot 64.
This is gonna be
Other than that, though, there are several thousands of other creations you can find in Roblox, and the whole
Shutting them
is a
down.
pretty unkempt jungle gym of bro people doing whatever the fuck they want. I mean, have you ever scrolled past a Roblox TikTok and had no idea what the hell was even going on? And it's got
What time is it over there?
comments, and you feel like you walked in on something you should know. Regardless, Roblox has a lot of strange corners, and this entry touches on a strange account by the name John Doe. If you're not familiar, John and Jane Doe are used as name placeholders for people who don't have a name for whatever reason.
You should run.
Mantras used by Roblox.
No one walks away.
Different accounts from John Doe.
Grenade out.
This all seems pretty
Reloading. Reloading.
However,
Knife requesting manual reset.
the mysterious nature of these Roblox like the fact that
I need a reset.
this kind of planted online coverage of the game vilified John and Jane Doe accounts. It was rumored that on March 18th, an attack would take place.
Last player standing.
Roblox, if you watch at any point on
Watch
March
out.
18th, you're getting hacked, buddy.
Gotta
This
go.
is largely propagated
Shortcut.
for cheap clicks online from children by YouTubers, definitely adds the most weight to this theory, but in reality, nothing happened besides Roblox making an official statement and resetting their own users on the platform, proving the rumor is
I'll survive a
it
desert
seems like for a
trip.
while,
Can't say the same for you,
2015
fragile
and
humans.
2017, the John Doe account was a regular boogeyman for the Roblox servers, but thankfully none of it turned out to be true. It wouldn't be the last strange occurrence with Roblox, but you know, that's for another time. Stop and Swap was one of the most ambitious ideas for the earliest versions of DLC and shared content between games. This was being developed back in the day for a few games
Shutting them
exclusively
down.
developed by Rare and started with their flagship.
What?
Sorry, man. It's
Pissed.
not shit. I meant flagship. Your flagship game, Banjo-Kazooie. The stop and swap feature would have added extra items that are still present in the game but are inaccessible naturally and are only revealed after the player 100%s the game, where a cutscene of Mumbo Jumbo showing these items is played out.
Spike
These
down,
items would have
B.
worked through Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, and there's even evidence of the features
go, go.
in Donkey Kong 64, such as Banjo-Kazooie
Spike
Bridge
planted.
and Donkey Kong's Treehouse. The feature
Last
was later
player
added
standing.
back into the game in a way
Like
to the
I
Xbox
never
X
left.
versions of Banjo-Kazooie that gave exclusive items and card
Last
parts
player
to
standing.
Banjo-Kazooie. So, yay.
Overall, it seemed like the feature was too ambitious for the hardware at the time, as it would have required something known as a hot swap, where you literally swap cartridges with a 10-second time
I'm
limit.
out of here.
Pretty intriguing to look back on this to see these developer trends starting all the way back in the day, in this infancy, and see how they tried to work around the old
Last
hardware
round in the half.
back then. Had this
point
become a thing
saving.
back
Buy
in the
a
day,
goal.
it might have launched the trend of different games communicating with each other a little bit earlier, but they started to figure that out with the next generation with things like the Game Boy Advance connector to the GameCube. It seems like after the popularity of GTA San Andreas' Bigfoot mystery, every other subsequent game release had their own strange urban legend to look out for. In Grand Theft
Just
Auto
chilling.
4, one of these oddities many players claim to
Suppress
see
it.
and run into deep beneath Liberty City is known as the Rat Man. The Rat Man supposedly lives under the city in the subway tunnels and stays alive by feasting on the homeless population down there. Damn, they can't catch a break. The accounts of Ratman differ a bit, with some players believing him to be a humanoid rat and a unique asset in the game, while others believe him just to be a geeked-up homeless person who can run super fast and is very hostile to the player. There's a few pieces of evidence floating around the internet, but they are so low quality that you can't even tell what's going on. And many skeptics believe this was done intentionally to hide the fact that it was so obviously fake, but this was also
had your fun. My turn.
So there are references to rats in and
Spike
out of the
down
game, like
A.
You will not kill my
Reloading. Pitbull down in the subway, which many believe was a subtle reference to the rat. But in reality, this was likely a humorous line poking fun at New York's real-life rat problem. Like all of these Grand Theft Auto urban legends, this one is still purely speculation and is likely not actually in the game, especially with the amount of evidence over a decade ago.
One
Shit,
enemy
I don't even know
remaining.
if anybody bothered to make a
30
box,
seconds left.
Take
to be
this.
honest.
Last player standing.
I guess in my book, one
Get
of
back up,
Nintendo's most
sweetheart.
surreal final bosses. I mean, just look at this guy. He's not even in the same ball field as
Switching
King
sides.
K. Rool or Bowser. Gaius is so powerful that next in the
belong
game
here.
have to go
We
back
all
in
belong
time
here.
to a time where he's less powerful, a time where he's emotionally damaged from the ending of Mother. So Gaius' power is already pretty evident that when you finally get to the boss battle, it's like staring up at a 100-mile-long impassable wall. Gaius was so impactful that rumors began to spread that his presentation at Earthbound is a lot darker than it first seemed. The running theory is that Gaius represents an important and abandoned place, even with some finding that in the pattern that makes up Gaius, you can see a repeating pattern of what looks like to be a baby in the womb. This theory was backed up even more when the creator of the game stated he was inspired by a film he'd accidentally walked into where he witnessed what he thought was a sexual assault scene, but in reality the film just featured a woman getting murdered.
Suppress it.
Many times incidents support the fact that Gaius
One
was
suppressed.
but there are just as many people disproving this theory with some great points. Like this post in the subreddit that offers a few points to disprove this theory, stating, Earthbound may be dark at times, but do you think HAL and Nintendo would allow an abortion as a major plot point in anybody rated as testing? While we don't know much about Gaius' raised fetuses or
Spike's
something,
down.
One enemy remaining.
powerful to
Spike
forces
down
of
B.
evil. Yeah, we'll likely never
Reloading.
developers, they're locked
And
away in
we're
a
clear.
dungeon somewhere, never
Is there
never
a
to make another game
ghost
again.
on the ground
That
somewhere?
and like the poster
Sure.
Reloading.
I don't think
Okay.
it's in Nintendo's
Fair
best
winds,
interest
tight
to
corners.
confirm this rumor.
Time to
What
show
do you
off,
guys
Jack.
think? Is Gaius a fetus or just a giant flesh wall? Let me know down below. Fun is Infinite should be in Layer 1 in my opinion, since it's really well known if you're a pioneer of early internet horror, but I don't have the wherewithal to gather all the information just to research and talk about it, so until I make my own
Gotta go.
iceberg, I'll shut the hell up about it. Regardless, Fun is Infinite was a suspected anti-piracy screen for Sonic CD turned disturbing Easter egg, and was one of the main inspirations for the popular creepypasta
Dropping
Sonic
smokes.
.exe. After the screen was found in Sonic CD, the
Shutting them down.
results
Go, go,
quickly,
go.
but finding the screen
Point suppressed.
don't blame
Reloading.
anyone for thinking it was fake or something else. In reality, you can find the screen in the sound test video that presents
Pew,
players
pew.
with a creepy image of Sonic and what appears to be a comically face inside the mask.
Grenade out.
The anonymous mask. The text in Japanese at the bottom when translated reads, Fun is Infinite with Sega Enterprises. Due to some mistranslation,
Tango down.
interpreted as Majin or Mashin, which means devil in Japanese. This
Enemy B.
misinterpretation, along with the creepy
One
ass
enemy
graphics
remaining.
shows for the American version.
time to die. Don't make a fuss.
Bone chilling.
Just let them try to catch me.
This version of Sonic today is known as Majin Sonic and is often referenced with fans who
I don't think
modern Sonic games, and the official Sega Twitter tweeting hard
I got a crazy
Majin Sonic. Today he's less of a boogeyman and a strange part of Sonic's history, but a really cool one to look back on with the full story. Now we're getting into the straight up silly and dumb creepypastas of the early internet
Go,
days.
go!
These started cropping up when I was just young enough to still
I'm
be
outta
sneaked
here.
out by them, given the great setting. And even back then I knew some of these would
Dropping
tell me.
smokes.
Tails doll is a character from Sonic R, which is a
Block
robot
inside.
doll made to fool Sonic into falling into one of Eggman's traps. There were several stories online that told of the Tails doll being cursed and the fact
I'll
that
spike you down.
Spike down B.
Shut
these were
down.
told for creepypastas mainly, with one of the earliest ones being a short story where a dad gets Sonic all and after a few days the kid beats the game. And his dad decides
Last player standing.
before the game turned itself off. Later that night, the dad saw a shadowy figure under
Once
his
more
bedroom
into battle.
door, and it turned out
I'm
not
not
to be his
tired.
son,
Are
but
you?
Tails doll. This story started a number of stories that told of Tails doll curse. That is obviously as fake as Luigi's mustache. Still, though, it's pretty nostalgic and fun to look back to what we found creepy in the early days of the internet. This is dumb as hell. For a long time, the rumor of jumping over the flagpole at the end of certain stages was merely a rumor on a rumor boat floating in the sea of other rumors, you know what I'm saying? It was harder to actually confirm if these claims were true back in the day without actually pulling them off yourself. For a long time, the idea of jumping over the flagpole was merely thought to be a myth. After many years, though, it is no longer a schoolyard rumor and more of a glitch that can occur in Super Mario. To pull this off in a few stages of the game, it requires nailing a jump that you kind of have to glitch a Koopa and jump over him on the flagpole. It's not that easy. If you do succeed in making it over the flagpole instead of hitting an invisible wall, you'll continue to play an endless level that only has
One enemy remaining.
the area past the flagpole is empty of enemies, items, and Mario's will to live. He's losing. He can make it fall with some
I would let you live, but that does not
the
compute.
game will start to glitch out the further you go out. Maybe Super Mario Bros.
I
has
hate to
some far
say
land
it,
where
but
it's found it. You
probably
just gotta
best
go
to
far
play as a
enough
team.
and
Gotta go.
glitch.
So, what's the plan?
Now we're getting into some of my favorite video game urban legends and myths belonging to the character rumors in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Ever since the first Smash Bros., the idea of extra characters being hidden in the games has been a trend, and it's a natural assumption to players when there is already a bunch of
Don't worry,
characters.
I'll keep them
Fighting
quiet.
games in general had some hype-ass rumors to them, but Smash Bros. Specifically are on a whole nother level. That's because Smash is already a huge collaboration of video game characters, so the roster already seems
Knife deployed.
Melee was and still is one of the strongest Smash Bros.
Reloading.
And it's because of how much they put into the game. They have so much they wanted to put in the game. This developers spoke about the characters that were going to be in the game, but were cut due to
Our
time
spike carrier
constraints.
was killed.
With this and
Spike down mid.
Reload. My ult's ready. Reloading.
it was only natural to start for characters who weren't actually in the game. One of the most popular Smash Bros.
Reloading.
Sonic and Tails were included, and was first started by an April Fool's article by Electronic Gaming Monthly, which stated that Sonic and Tails were hidden characters in Melee that nobody had found yet. To unlock the two characters, you'd have to defeat 20 wireframe enemies in cool Melee before having to fight
Shutting them down.
Sonic and Tails to finally unlock it. The rumor was believed by many due to the expert-level photo manipulation showing not only Sonic and Tails on the character roster screen, but also having an image of them in the
Last player standing.
Looking back, this would have been high to tell, but with
Flashbang.
confirmed, there was a few more
Carry-o!
lined
My
up
ult's
in the
ready.
line. It's unlikely that Sonic
30
had a
seconds
chance to
left.
be in the game, much less Tails. Luckily, in the next iteration, we finally see some Sonic representation, and that was the beginning of the end of it. They needed more room for Fire Emblem characters, you heard? Similar to the Sonic and Tails rumor in Melee, another popular rumor was floating
10
around
seconds
Smash
left.
Try, bro.
Toad is a character who is
Try.
technically already in the game thanks to Princess Peach's standard E-move using
My
him
ult
as
is
a
ready.
Point.
shield, but was
Let's
once
make a plan,
previously
then
playable as his
execute.
own character.
To unlock Toad, you'd have to shoot down all of the names in the credit sequence, which is extremely hard to do and has only been done once outside of tasks. I remember attempting this when I was a kid, and it was difficult, so I gave up on it fast, since you really only get one chance at it per run, and missing one name spells
It's down. Guns up.
sucked as a
Get
challenge,
deadly.
and it's one of the reasons the rumor was believed to be true for so long, since nobody could shoot down all the credits. Another thing that helped the authenticity of the
Shutting them down.
that Toad's model is already technically in the game, even if limited. Why wouldn't they have polished him up a little bit and tossed him in as a mean, secret, unlockable character? You know, it's starting to make sense. Looking back, it's clearly not real, even from just reading what you'd have to do to unlock him. But the hope of unlocking Toad as another Jigglypuff type of character, where he's pretty much useless besides
No one walks away.
that would have been cool as hell, man. But I really hope we see some iteration of Toad in Smash one day, even if it's like Toad's Worth or Captain Toad.
Got one. Here we go. Huh. Any
Totaka's song is a really wholesome and nice Easter egg.
One enemy remaining.
In a game that's presented in. If you're unaware, Totaka's song is more of a jingle than a song, but it is made by Totaka, who is a longtime composer
That
for Nintendo's
sucks.
biggest projects. The song is known to be inserted in almost all of his projects he works on,
Even with
dating
numbers,
back to a
anything
game
can
called
still
X
happen.
on Game Boy
Remember
in
that.
1990 to the most
I'm
recent
outta
Animal
here.
Crossing entry, New Horizons. The jingle goes like this. If you've heard it before, then it's likely recognizable since it's such a short and catchy melody. My
I have your
favorite
back.
times Totaka's song has shown up is when they tie it into the theme of the game, like the original Luigi's Mansion.
Suppress it.
Dropping smokes. Reloading.
Healer down.
Easter egg is the fact that it's often not a singular track in the
Plant
game.
spike.
Could I please get a
That means players usually have to track the song down when there's a suspected Totaka song, whether it be waiting
Spike
to pause
planted.
music for a few minutes or trying to decipher a humming Yoshi over Mario Kart 8's long
Enemy
gas
spotted B.
soundtrack. I still don't have to
Reloading.
I first heard the song
One
way
dead.
back in the day in Mario 8, and it's
Oh
still
yeah! Monster on the loose!
One enemy remaining.
even in completely different sound formats. It's one of my
Reloading. Your tactics failed. Reloading.
Like I stated a few entries ago,
Fight
some of
till
the
the end,
tightest urban
no matter
legends
what.
came from fighting games, and
Gotta
one that
go.
predated even the first Smash Bros. Was the rumor that Reptile was a secret fight in the original Mortal Kombat. This is actually the earliest example of a secret character in a fighting game and paved the way for the string to continue on in the genre. Reptile was often hinted at in the game before fights, where a green reskin of Sub-Zero and Scorpion would come down on the screen. and
Whatever
deliver
it takes.
hits, all of which combined would spell out the way to get to the secret boss fight. The requirements to fight Reptile are pretty ridiculous, as it includes the
Enemy spotted B.
Suppress it.
Dropping smokes. Reloading.
Two suppressed.
If you're able to achieve all of this,
Enemy B. Reloading.
fights where somehow you perfectly dodge the fight, even when they
Reloading.
Raise me though.
Your duty is
they have a character as well after the fight, but unfortunately it just ended up
Go, go, go. Shortcut.
Can y'all start like walking forward and shit? Like,
Spike planted.
One enemy remaining.
best to honor the secret fighter and add him into future iterations as his own character.
Everyone's motor functions
Flesh him
okay?
out, making him
I know humans get tired.
an actual Reptile in more recent games. It's a legendary video game rumor that
Go,
ended
go.
up being true, even if almost impossible to get to, at least for me. It reminds me of the Cranky Challenge, but if you ended up completing the challenge, you had to fight Cranky mano-a-mano and bludgeon him to death with his cane as your finisher. I want to do that anyway.
Through the
If you're a big
calm,
enough fan of
I
Five
see.
Nights at Freddy's, chances
Through the
are
storm,
you've tried out
I
the custom
fight.
night mode when you're able to set your own difficulty.
I'm outta here.
There was a rumor for a while that after the game released, if you entered the date,
Not
you could
deployed.
add them into the lineup of difficulties that were like
Two suppressed.
Gotta go. Reloading.
This wouldn't do anything but keep the
Reloading.
updated to actually include something if you inserted the code. But instead of more content and more hidden away, he instead put in the Golden Freddy
Gotta go.
jump scare
We're
that
good.
crashed
Spikes down.
Enemy back.
Spike down B.
Curiosity killed the finesse fan, is what they say, right? It's worth noting that
Enemy B.
Last player standing.
number, but rather maybe a
Defenders win.
Which is a whole other rabbit hole of lore that I won't go into at the moment here. It is funny to think that players trying this urban legend one day results in nothing, then the next day you get shit on by Golden Freddy and he does the fucking Fortnite L dance on you before you have a heart attack and die. Animal Crossing is home to many strange and eerie Easter eggs, but the creepiest secret was pretty well hidden for a while. The gyroid face, often thought to be a glitch, is actually part of the game and serves as a punishment for not saving while visiting a friend's town. You get a lot of warnings about this before setting off, so unless you're deliberately trying to get the gyroid face or your power goes out, you'll likely not ever see this throughout your natural gameplay. I never found this because I didn't have any friends. Not only is your appearance hollow and empty permanently, but you also all lose all your items you had in your pockets. So yeah, don't go gallivanting and forget to save, because the consequences are really brutal. Super Mario 3D Land features another one of the Mario series' strangest mysteries, and it fittingly lies inside a ghost house. Behind the flagpole of the level 4-4, if you wait 30 seconds, you can see a strange figure hit a nasty cross dissolve into frame before fading away after a few seconds. This ghost can also be seen in less obvious places throughout the level, but if you want the clearest view, the end of the level is the best place. There's a lot of speculation online of what this thing even is and why it's here. Many think this may share some relation to the aforementioned Hell Valley sky trees, but my bigger question is, why does the ghost appear to be human-like and not like
Easy, did you do that?
The Mario universe has clearly shown what their version of ghosts are, so what the hell is this thing? Well, much like the other mysterious oddities in Mario games, we'll never get a clear answer, and it's probably just something as simple as an overworked developer added in something for fun, just so he can make it through his work.
Yeah, you're not.
It's definitely one of the creepier things to see in a Mario game, but this one's been covered to death, so let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
The Jolene Cranley ghost is a mystery from Grand Theft Auto 5 that appears near and on Mount Gordo. The story behind the spirit actually goes pretty deep and is hidden within the game pretty well. If you go to a website in the game about another mystery, you can find an ad that links to a newspaper clipping from the late 70s that told of a husband and a wife who went hiking on Mount Gordo before the wife supposedly slips off the mountain to her death, with the husband eventually being acquitted of any suspicion of the accident. However, you can tell by his response with him saying things like, "I would never kill my wife, even if she was trying to ruin my stunt career," which isn't usually something someone would say who's grieving. In current day Los Santos, you can actually hear and find evidence that Jolene hasn't moved on quite yet. If you go to certain sections of the map, you can hear voice lines from a ghostly woman's voice saying, "Please don't do it," and pleading with what's supposedly her husband, Jock. At the top of the mountain, where she likely fell off the cliff in the 70s, between the hours of 12 to 1 a.m., you can see a projection of Jolene's ghost. Her spirit takes the form as a flat 2D texture and really reveals how messed up she must have got from falling to her death, even with a permanent frozen shock look on her face. Not only can you find her spirit, you can also find evidence that finally confirms her husband killed Jolene, wherein right under her spirit spawn, you find the name Jock written out in blood. This has to be one of the most surreal and disturbing Easter eggs to find in GTA 5, and the fact it's completely missable, not tied to a side mission or anything. It's hard to know what you're running into when you first find Jolene's ghost. I agree with fans who say that this probably should have been a deeper side mission that perhaps Trevor would go through, seeing as Michael and Franklin already have side missions where they conduct investigations similar to this one, and this seems like the perfect candidate for one of those.
Match found.
The original Metroid game had some interesting programming, specifically when it came to the password system the game used. Instead of hard-coded passwords into the game, they instead implemented a 2-point checksum, where it would actually only check the last 2 letters of the passcode. This means that passwords would just have to pass the last 2 interview checks, and the one for changing Samus into her leotard and out of her armor was known as the Justin Bailey code.
For years, there was a lot of speculation on who Justin Bailey was and why the code worked in the game. It seemed very random, and before the checksum was known about, having a kid named Justin Bailey be a hard-coded passcode for a Japanese-developed game didn't seem right to some. In reality, it seems like a kid probably named Justin Bailey back in the day just so happened to be messing around with the password system, plugged in his name and it worked, and it naturally spread like that. Of course, this is just speculation, but it quickly became the most popular code people would use to get the armor swap cheat. In reality, if you played around with your name in the password section long enough, it's likely you'd stumble across a working password yourself. The only hard-coded password in the game is NAR password, which gives you all the power-up items, but other than this, all the other passwords can be anything, and this Justin fella just so happened to get his 15 minutes of fame, or I guess years of fame, because we're still talking about him several decades later. Shouts out to Mr. Bailey. I really hope you're not a piece of shit by now. I hope you're a good guy. I'm shouting you out, and I don't know who you are. The Pokemon Black Hack is an early Pokemon creepypasta that was grounded in reality and told of a very believable story. This is because it didn't tell of anything outside of the game itself, and delve into the typical hardships you find in these stories, especially back in the day. The synopsis of Pokemon Black Hack is someone buys a hack copy of Pokemon Red after explaining he is a fan of buying and playing through Pokemon bootleg he finds online. After finding Pokemon Black at the flea market, he quickly realized that the hack was unlike any other he played before. The starting Pokemon were the same, but there
I know,
was an additional
Sage.
starter
Don't hurt
known as
myself.
Ghost, who takes
But it's a
the form of
gunfight, so
Ghost
no
from
promises.
Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. The player, of course, chooses the Ghost Pokemon, and its only move turns out to be Curse. This was odd since the move was not added into the series until after Pokemon Red, so it seems like someone went out of their way to intentionally add the move in. It turns out the move not only kills the Pokemon you are facing off against, but also the trainer, and it permanently kills them with a gravestone even showing up in their place outside of a battle. This all culminates in the end of the game where the player is now older and without Pokemon before finally facing off against the ghost Pokemon yourself, where it will end up killing the player.
Shutting them down.
The story was so believable and
Free suppressed.
to the actual game that someone was able to make a pretty accurate ROM hack to play in real life, and it captures the creepiness of the original story. I think often it's hard to match the craziness of some of the stories.
Flag it.
Enemies will compete with the best of the best.
No chance.
We're always the ones like this one that kept
They're
it
in
realistic
pieces.
within the parameters of their game they're talking about. This was one of my favorites back in the day. It really makes me
Spike
want
planted.
Pokemon games.
Enemy
And
spotted B.
set in this darker tone.
Last player standing.
In terms of Smash Brothers leaks, this was the next one for Smash Bros. 4. It was one of the most
Be at peace.
sold Mini and me back in the day. The Rayman leak, besides the Grinch leak, was one of the biggest newer Smash roster rumors that had a lot of weight and evidence around it. This is due to a perfectly doctored video showing Rayman on the roster screen, even with his own player icon. This was done so well that it fooled a lot of gaming outlets and fans, with many getting extremely pumped for the newest third-party Smash member. But as we know, with hindsight goggles, Rayman was not in the game. And what a damn shame. The leak was made by Curiomatic on YouTube, where he would eventually come out and reveal the leak was fake.
Let
and
them
show
try
exactly
to get
how he did it. If you're into video editing and photo doctoring, this is a pretty cool watch, and the tactics he used seem pretty annoying and repetitive as fuck, so big props to him seeing the project through, and it seems to have paid off when you wanted effect. The initial origin of the leak came from a series called Smashify, where Curiomatic would create art for video game characters as if they were in the Smash universe, and it's a super satisfying series to watch, so I recommend it to anyone who like this.
Shutting them down.
In terms of all-time titles, Smash
One
Bros.
suppressed.
Myths, the Grinch leak has to be number one, man. If you're unfamiliar, the Grinch leak refers to a large leak that occurred in 2018 during the final few roster choices for Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it was an
Spike down A.
final version of the
Last
large
player
mural
standing.
showing all of the fighters. The post was originally uploaded to
Clovis,
4chan and
like,
showed a few
she's going
choice
A.
characters on the mural that hadn't been announced yet, like Banjo and Kazooie, Chorus Kids, Gino, Isaac, Ken, Shadow, and Mock Rider. The mural being manipulated wasn't anything new for fake Smash leaks for Smash Ultimate, but the biggest piece of evidence to prove this leak had some weight
Spike
to it was
planted.
actually a render of the Grinch from the newest at the time Grinch animated movie, giving its name the Grinch leak. The render had yet to be seen by the public since the film hadn't had much promo material at the time, and people had noticed, mainly because why the hell would someone go out of their way to create a Grinch render to fool a whole lot of people on the internet for a completely different thing? This was still a stretch, but the
you think so?
looked super
Then
official.
fall near me.
Someone who appeared to work for a company that would have access to renders like this. This was a promising lead. In hindsight, though, obviously the game was fake, and it only got 2 out of the 7 characters right by the end of the game's roster DLC packs. It also included a lot of most wanted fighters throughout the years, which should have been the biggest red flag, but hey man, what about that sick-ass Grinch render? That's gotta be something, right? Dude, I'm still disappointed that Grinch was never actually in the game. His final smash would have been the Whoville Hoedown, where he'll ride down the mountain at full speed, wrecking to other fighters, much like Captain Falcon's final smash. Yeah, I put some thought into that one if you can't tell.
Perfect. Enemy spotted B.
Catastrophe Pro is an internet ARG that was heavily believed to be real in the early days of the project, with proof of gameplay and the initial showing of the game was covered as if it were a real game nobody ever played. In reality, it was for entertainment purposes.
Spike down, B.
Message sent.
Adam Butcher
Enemy
funded the project for a while until there was a playable build.
One enemy
Here's a
remaining.
synopsis of the game and its creation comes
Healing.
from the developer creating
Reloading.
the game and memorializing his father passed away in his workplace while visiting.
Huh?
Do not fight.
Family. The game is playable to a point, and it really has been filled out
Break
as
down,
time has passed,
rebuild,
and the work
back
of
in
Top
it.
proved to be beneficial in selling it as a real curse in 64. It's such an unnerving genre of game. To put a dark backstory like this behind it makes it even more impactful, not to mention how surreal the game gets near the end. If you haven't heard about Catastrophe Pro, there are a lot of great videos that go into way more detail that I'd recommend, like Night Minds or the original Adam Butcher video, and even the Game Theorist coverage on the game. There's a few for you.
Suppress it.
Hot coffee led to one of the biggest setbacks.
One suppressed.
The Columbine Doom map leaks, and it was fully on the mishandling of the situation by Rockstar Games. If you're unfamiliar, Grand Theft Auto
Spike down, mid.
cut content, including a sex minigame that
Enemy
noted as
spotted
Hot
mid.
Coffee, in which for the time it showed explicit sex
Enemy
acts
down.
in the game. However, due to the risk of a higher rating than imminent, sure, they hid the mission inside the code, unavailable to anyone playing the base game. However, due to them not removing the minigame in full and locking it behind the back end, when the game's PC
One enemy remaining.
modders were able to restore the minigame to its full extent. Looking back, the scene seems so tame to what we see now in video games, which makes it even more ridiculous on the outrage and backlash that came from this.
Knife
To be fair, though,
deployed.
Rockstar probably
Go, go.
One suppressed.
no one escapes my sight. No. It was a witch
I'm
hunt
outta
for the
here.
higher ups at Rockstar.
Keep the momentum.
Staying silent.
I'm
It-
outta here.
It wasn't a good one. They of course recovered, and it wouldn't be the last piece of drama they got themselves into. But looking back, it was such an interesting time for games and the games industry, and how the rest of the world responded to stuff like this. Of course, it's lame as fuck when the government entities try to get involved, and with no
Hell
way to
yeah,
access the
bro, we're going
content
crazy
without
right
knowing
now.
to mod it.
Except
I truly
for
think
our
this was an
Karen.
overreaction,
Shit.
and if you're truly
Nigga,
worried
fuck
about
you.
seeing the scene and totally okay with them doing everything else in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, maybe
Knife deployed.
GTA 6 would
You can see that.
they'd have to show full penetration if they wanted to stir up anything nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Arcade's not gonna do anything.
The theories behind if Michael
I wanna
Jackson
eat.
had any involvement in the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 soundtrack or raging in the
Go, go, go.
early 2000s, and the story behind it only brings up more questions than answers. Today, it has all but been confirmed by Jason himself.
One enemy remaining.
Present and had a
Spike
hand in
down,
the
B.
tracks in Sonic 3. The theory
Spike
cropped up
B.
that Jackson was involved
End of story.
Oh, yeah.
tracks in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 to Michael Jackson's music, even sharing some riffs.
Watch
And
them
in fact,
run
Michael
when lit
Jackson
by my
was
sonar.
uncredited in the
That's
game's
when we
credits,
strike.
making it seem pretty fishy. More years would pass without any new information until 2009, where Brad Buxer, the credited composer for Sonic 3, would reveal that he did indeed work with Michael Jackson in developing the tracks for the game. Specifically, the tracks Knuckles Theme, Hydrocity City, and Carnival Night Zone were apparently worked on by Future upon Michael's supervision, while the only theme Michael actually worked on himself was the staff roll theme. Upon showing
Shutting them
Get
down.
out of my way!
One suppressed.
Sega Genesis, Michael, the diva he is, decided his music was too good to be desecrated by the chiptune sounds the Genesis produced. This was the main theory presented by Buxer himself as to why Michael Jackson went uncredited, as he stated in the following. I've never played and I do not know what the developers have kept the tracks on
Spike
which
planted.
Michael and I worked, but we did compose the music with Michael calling at some point to give him a hand on this project, and that's what I did. And if he was not credited for composing,
Got him.
soul sound coming out of the console. At the time, game consoles did not allow optimal sound reproduction, and Michael found it frustrating. He did not want to be associated with a product that devalued his music. Another interview with Roger
Scanning ahead.
Hector, the executive coordinator
Found
of Sonic,
One enemy remaining.
for Jackson's early termination from the project due to the following. Sonic 3 was a lot of fun, but it was also very
I'll see yous in a minute.
Michael Jackson was originally brought in to compose all the music for the game, but at the very end, his work was dropped after the game became public. This caused a lot of problems and required a lot of reporting, but the game turns out great in the end. While both are likely
I'll shut them down.
removal from
Until
the
then,
project, I'm more
survive.
inclined to believe Buxer since he was boots on the ground with Mr. Jackson himself, and it just seems like a Michael Jackson thing to do to hate video game music.
Enjoy,
I mean,
I can buy
can't really
you a
blame him,
Vandal so you can
really.
save
You
this
know,
room.
imagine
Leave
being
it
a
all.
musician your whole life, where you're
Thanks.
dealing with real instruments, then you go to work on a project and it turns out sounding like this. I mean, you do the math. It's not that hard to see that this guy wasn't a fan of something that sounded like this. I totally disagree, as I find this era of games had some of the best soundtracks and oftentimes
Shutting them down.
ever since the initial release of Sonic 3, the re-releases have had a lot of trouble with music rights. And
Spike
often
down,
replace
mid.
the music with beta music before
Have one of
Jackson's
these.
involvement, or completely redoing the music altogether. This all culminated recently during the pre-release of Sonic Origins, which would include recreated music from the
Hi.
tracks to
Bye.
the original game. This was frustrating not only for the fans of the original, but even for the co-creator of Sonic
Reloading.
X. Oh my god, the music for Sonic 3. Sega official uses Michael Jackson.
Oh, what the
This was
fuck?
referencing a clip that the official Sega Twitter tweeted out, including Michael
I'm
Jackson
outta
and
here.
Billie Jean as a backing track, yet they're not allowed to use the original
Spike
track.
down, B.
Jackson. I don't know, man. What kind of wacky, dumbass world do we live in? I'm with you, Yuji. I'm on your side, dude. This is bullshit.
Last player standing.
Sometimes video game Easter eggs don't even have to be in a video game. Call of Tortured Souls from Windows 95.
Yo, there's another
This is
person
a
alive.
strange rumor turned Easter egg from Windows 95 in which if you open the
Bragging
cell
rights if you
and
get
click
first
the
pick.
fifth row and select the whole row, tabbed over to the B column, go to help/about, tap and hold Control-Alt-Shift, then click the tech support button, then this Easter egg will appear. The small game isn't even really a game, more of a humorous take on the developer's credits. The game starts in a pretty vibrant room and visits the user, the controls to move in 8 directions and to look up and down. Throughout the hall, you can find messages and names of developers who worked on Windows 95
Suppressing.
before finally finding a large control
One suppressed.
pixelated picture of all the developers standing and sitting together. The Hall of Tortured
Like I
Souls is
never
always
left.
processed bigger and bigger than it was, and while the visuals are a little off-putting, reminding me of something like LSD Dream Emulator, there really isn't anything that unnerving. It's
My
more of
ult's
a
ready.
nice way to show the credits of an operating system, which is already likely going to go unnoticed by many users.
One enemy remaining.
You had your fun.
Spike
Spike's
down,
My
B.
turn.
I don't even stick around for the credits at the end of the movie.
Last player standing.
What?
Club Penguin was never in my rotation of games.
Spike
I
planted.
impact the game had on its fans.
Here we go!
One enemy
Had
remaining.
Quite a few rumors going around, but the most popular is easily the rumor that you could tip the iceberg off the northeast coast of Penguin Island. It's unknown where the rumors first started, but the basic idea is that if enough players stood on one side of the iceberg, it would tip over and sink. But no matter how many people
I
tried
could
it,
just
it
outlive
would
them.
never
I'm outta
even be
here.
close. Some of the rumors
Nah,
went deeper
bullets
and
are
stated
quicker.
that you needed extra gear to pull this off, like the Jackhammer 3000. That's why a lot of the early footage of this phenomena, you'll see a bunch of construction worker penguins looking like they're about to drill straight to China. They're really just trying to flip the iceberg.
This remained a myth until the final days of Club Penguin's servers being open, wherein during the final party event, they updated the iceberg to finally be able to be tipped over. To actually do this, it was a bit more involved than just offsetting the weight of the penguins, and it took 5 players in room for blue and walking a blue puffle, while also dancing and wearing the part
143
of the Jackhammer 3000.
ISO.
It's super cool to see this finally happen, and I'm sure for fans that fell for this rumor back in the day, which was super satisfying. Shout out to this club.
Spike down A.
I can't imagine if they updated Super Mario 64 with Luigi back in the day, reversing all that.
Last player standing.
Good for you guys, man.
One enemy
Best
remaining.
mysteries of recent gaming news was definitely the Nier Automata's church mystery. In June 2022, a Reddit post was made to the game's Reddit asking if they knew
Shutting them down.
This was followed by many users questioning where and what the player was even talking about, as nothing sounded familiar to what they were describing. After the user came back and hit them with receipts in the ways of photos, and started with some questioning if it was even real, claiming if this was a hoax, it was incredible. As the users started to share more about the
Attack when they're suppressed.
area through
I cut their
videos or
options,
images,
they make
it seemed like
mistakes.
this was a legit area in the game that had yet to be discovered. After many attempts to find and unlock the church, it was beginning to occur to some that this may be an insanely detailed ARG, which it turned out to be, sort of. The original creator of the mystery revealed on a live stream that the evidence was the works of a mod they created, and the entire Reddit post was fake and used to trick people. The mod was even talked about and shared by the creator of Nier, Yoko Taro.
Get out of my way!
The mystery, not directly answering fans' questions about the mystery. Apparently, Taro liked the mod and liked the mystery so much that they even added a reference to it in the official Nier anime, making this entire thing technically somewhat canon. Shout out to everyone involved.
Spike down A.
One of the most impressive video game urban of recent
they
times.
A.
And to the creators for not immediately dispelling
Opponent
the myth
killed.
and playing into it more. Just saying, if this was Nintendo, it would have been hit with a cease and desist, and the creator would be paying 50% of every paycheck directly to Miyamoto's Venmo for the rest of his life. I give him too much credit. He's definitely a cash out type of guy.
Barrier created.
The purple prize is a myth.
Your duty is not over.
4DS
That
was
was
created to be a
weird.
newer version of the L is Real mystery, after many assumed that Waluigi would be playable in Super Mario 64 DS for a number of reasons.
One enemy
Mario
remaining.
was present, and since there was already 4 playable characters, there was a good chance the game had a
It's you and me.
The initial
Push him,
post was made
Angel.
on a DeviantArt account
You are in our way.
magazine that showed Waluigi playable and revealed a pretty vague way of unlocking him, stating, "Find all the stars and be the fastest."
What do you say,
Gotta go.
monster in the
Ready to
room.
stretch your
Afterward,
wings?
The secret switch will reveal my door, brother. All that remains is a challenge from the Rabbit King for its key. Alright, what the hell does being the fastest foot racer in the land even mean? I know the
Need a
fastest
map
foot
switch,
racer,
eh?
and I ain't him, bro. I'll never be him. Looking back, it's shocking that this fooled anyone, as some of the layers of Waluigi are very obviously fake, and the presentation is definitely a little odd. It was just enough to fool people,
That one,
though,
eh?
as people started to
Knife
run
deployed.
started to be hunting for Waluigi.
It's supposed to be carrying right now.
So why do we keep making the same mistakes? A few of the theories to getting Waluigi
You're only carrying Angel.
100%ing the game, then going to the top of the castle where Yoshi was chilling in the original, and you'd find Waluigi there waiting to be unlocked. Another theory involved a purple rabbit. The main fuel behind this theory was the fact that
Spike planted.
accidentally left an image of the purple rabbit in the instruction booklet for the game, making many people believe it was still there and it hadn't been found, including the aforementioned rabbit.
Yo, Angel, they're A.
Obviously, this would all culminate in
Last
the
player
fate of
standing.
the original creator even coming out and revealing the
Please
truth,
don't
but it
let
would
me
stop
finish.
some future hoaxes surrounding Waluigi's involvement in the game.
Not ready
which
yet.
he just isn't. When are we gonna learn?
So gang, right? Spray your gun.
You got an ace.
Oh, what's that? We're doing Super Mario Badminton. He's the baddest.
Last
bad
round
player
before
in
the
land.
switch.
No point saving. Gotta go.
SpongeBob Saves the Day was a click and find flash game that came out in the 2010s that seemed to have quite a fan base. So much so that fans took it upon themselves to go into the game's backend files and found that some of the environment scenes contained sprite sheets right on the side of the screen, at least in a pretty
strange entity. Well, it didn't belong in Bikini Bottom, I'll tell you that. This guy would come to be known as Yummer by fans on the internet.
Shutting
But
them down.
according to the developers, his name was
One
just
suppressed.
Yummer. This character was apparently being used as a placeholder.
No one walks away.
At this point, it would be obvious to replace it by someone reviewing the game scenes. However, they mistakenly let the abomination be the sprite sheet of the game so close to the game that I wouldn't be surprised if the kids felt like they were being watched while playing this game. Because technically they were. You just couldn't see them back. I don't know. You can find this out in the area. It looks like no
I
good.
never left!
Noki Bay is already one of the most unnerving levels in Mario boss level that I hate going back to even to this day. But it also contained one of the strangest red coin missions.
Knife deployed.
Last player standing.
Down. Down. Sides, breaking every single bone in his body along the way.
It's you and me.
The hunt begins. Switching
After
sides.
that, you are now tiny and searching for red coins inside the
A bow and
box.
arrow is
Pretty
old-fashioned.
barren, only
Sometimes
containing
old
runes
ways
at the
are
bottom of
best.
the box.
Go, go, go.
Inside the runes is a strange door that Mario can't interact with directly, but curious players decided to try
Go,
and
go,
put
go.
the camera behind the door. What they found was pretty strange, to say the least. A book entity can be seen placed in a very small room behind the inaccessible door, and after this came
Oh
along,
no, bro. Angel supposed to be so
out, and a few of them are just straight up crazy, and I'm here for it. The most likely theory is this was a leftover scrapped mission that may have used the book as an item during said mission, but instead it was scrapped for a much simpler red coin mission. A crazier theory references a quote
He somehow
from
died
our
more
main man
times than
Miyamoto, which he stated, "What if everything that you see is
Scanning
ahead.
what you see? The space that
Yeah, I'm
appears
playing
empty is a
close.
door to another world.
That,
What if something appears that should you either dismiss it or
Drop in a
live long
school.
enough to see yourself become the villain? But you either
Go, go.
dismiss
Enemy
it or accept
spotted.
that there is more to the world than you think.
Enemy
Perhaps
spotted
there
B.
is more away. And if you choose to stay inside,
We tend to.
Spike planted.
Taken out.
so many believe the door here is what Miyamoto was referencing. Quote,
Obstacle
I just gotta
removed.
say, that's
Reloading.
hilarious. I don't know if we should be quoting everything Miyamoto says all the time, especially late at night after it's happening. I can see
One
the kind
enemy
of
remaining.
connection, but this is such a stretch that there's no way. In reality, the book will likely never be explained because why would such a nothing object that just so happened to be accidentally discovered by curators?
Last player standing.
Listen, I'm no expert on FNAF or the lore or anything FNAF. I wrote this entry before I fucked up on the last one, just so you know. Obviously, I don't know much about FNAF, but I do know the significance of
Yeah,
the
he said
guy
ACG.
and was once rumored that he
Ah,
appeared
yeah,
in
though.
animatronic form in
That's
the
what he
second
said, though.
Five Nights at Freddy's. This rumor started off from a video that was uploaded.
He also said,
Listen up,
damn,
Mama.
GG need to
If
step
I
this
don't
shit
get
up.
back up, just give me a nudge.
Yeah,
I
he
might
ain't
not be
gonna do
dead.
that,
Just
though,
take a
right.
recap.
Purple guy. Looking back, it wasn't the
Good
best
job,
edited video, and the purple guy literally only showed up for a frame, making it really hard to believe and even see, but it was just enough for players to buy into. Plus, with the game already having strange RNG within the gameplay itself, it wasn't super far-fetched
I'm outta
to
here.
assume that there was some super hidden Easter egg
Overtake
like
them.
this. However, it was
Go, go,
revealed to be a hoax, as the purple guy animatronic was an edited version of the
Suppress
Golden
it.
Freddy animatronic. And I must say, it's a
Revealing
pretty
area.
convincing repalette.
No peeking.
The video itself is pretty rough to go back to and watch, but I do give it the benefit of doubt with time. But listen, I can make a more convincing video right now.
Spike planted.
Luigi's Mansion is already an off-putting enough game if you were young enough playing it, but there was a lot of small things that made the game particularly eerie. One of these things was a glitch that occurs in the game when Luigi answers the phone in the telephone room. With a strike of lightning,
yeah, you gotta aim.
wall with light up,
Last
the
player
shadow
standing.
feeling that the shadow is levitating, making it seem like the shadow itself is hanging. I remember stumbling across this rumor online and
Why is
thinking
my
that
team
it was
pushing?
Easter egg that
Why are you guys
was
pushing?
maybe even implying Luigi is dead.
Why are you guys pushing?
It was truly unnerving when I first ran across it, but I don't know, dude. I was spooked out by Squidward's suit. I wasn't able to fuck handle Luigi off
This
himself
reminds
like
me
this.
of this
However,
one
this
time
is
when
a
I
They're
cool
pushing.
lighting
Why are
glitch
you
that
guys
accidentally
pushing?
cast Luigi's shadow
Go,
and
go,
this
go.
is
There's no reason.
on the wall. It was never meant to imply Luigi had hung himself. I mean, I get it. I know that beta game over showed Luigi really down bad, but I never
Stay
took him
on
to do something like
site.
this, man.
That's all we gotta do. When the plan spike, just stay on
Final
site.
Fantasy
That's
VII
all.
isn't the only Final Fantasy
I know you
playing
guys
with
push.
people
I don't know
today,
why.
as the next in line Final Fantasy VIII has a moment that stuck with players for years.
Knife
This
deployed.
particular moment
Revealing
in
area.
comes when Squall is hit with a large ice.
You guys want to win or you guys want to lose? That's
and
exactly
seemingly
what I'm
dies
trying
as
to
he is
figure out.
However, upon starting disc 2, it seems Squall is fine, and the strange moment is seemingly overlooked by the game's story. The out-of-place
That's his
scene
one
made
shot.
many players believe that Squall actually did die during this cutscene, and the rest of the game takes place as a final lapse of consciousness in the way of a dream. There is a lot of evidence to support this theory, like the fact the second part of the game after this is starkly different from the grounded environments and enemies of the first disc. Not
One
only that,
enemy remaining.
Squall is seen without any injury, and the game does little to explain how he killed himself without so much as a scar left over.
Spike
During the
planted.
ending cutscene of the game,
Shutting them
the
down.
Squall cutscene is randomly shown again, hinting at the fact that this was Squall's true ending, as
That's what I'm talking about.
disturbing as scene is. Many believe this is
Catch
a
your breath.
representation of
Not that I
Squall's
need to,
last
of course.
breath as the game finally ends. While the theory is really convincing with several pieces of evidence adding up, the series developer Yoshinori Kitase stated it's not true, but he found it very interesting and poked at the idea of reworking the story if they ever remade it to include this little twist. Unlike the reviving Aerith myth, this one kind of works in the opposite way as it reveal the true fate of the main character Squall, but it appears he got the same treatment as the
Knife deployed.
did in
Scanning
Star Wars,
ahead.
He fell down a
Dropping
pit and
smokes.
somehow he's straight.
It probably hits the asphalt, implodes.
Yeah,
Right?
excellent.
Then, whatever he does, then you hear.
For you. Thank you. I'm out of here.
He's alive.
He's alive!
Spike planted. My ult
Super
is
Mario
ready.
Galaxy DS was a
There.
port of Super Mario Galaxy on
Enemy
the Wii
spotted
that
B.
promised a full-fledged version of
Enemy
Super
and
Mario
defender
Galaxy
spawn.
that was
Gone.
unlockable through the Wii version. This rumor started when a trailer for the DS version was uploaded online, and it looked really convincing, showing
Enemy
Mario
spotted B.
and Luigi playing simultaneously. Most impressive
One
was
enemy
the
remaining.
Next time, mind the heavy machinery.
Turns out this was fake and was actually made as a project for a design studies
Alright, Lucky
class in which
Socks.
the goal of the
Don't fail
project
me
was
now.
to make a viral video.
Go,
Pablo
go, go.
Del Montes decided to use the hype-around
Go,
Super
go,
Mario
go.
Galaxy at the time and made a super convincing trailer for a port of the game on one of the most popular handhelds at the time. The time spent and impressive showcase would only land Pablo a fucking B+ as the story is told, which
I'm
is
outta
honestly
here.
highway robbery. That should have been
I'll
A+.
show them.
I can buy
There
for
are a
it.
few points in the project that
Need a
reveal
drop.
that it's obviously fake, like how to unlock the version of the
Shutting them down.
collectively all
Target down.
You had your fun.
One suppressed.
My
You
turn.
would then unlock golden
Get out of my way.
Multiple enemies before you. Back like I never left.
Every star collected in the DS version would grant the
It's
player
you
free
and me.
points to spend on the eShop, which is a giant stretch thinking Nintendo would ever give away free money like this. Overall, though, the project is impressive and it spawned a full-blown passion project. Mario Galaxy on DS, which there is a playable demo floating out there
I'm outta here.
right now. Just don't expect any of the cool parts of this room to be in there, like the multiplayer and the 3D points. I mean, shit, you can tell.
Last player standing.
You know, they don't do anything, so I guess have them all. One of the more obscure urban legends from San Andreas was a bit less known than the Bigfoot legend discussed in the first
My bad,
episode.
I
This one
like
features an antagonist from another Rockstar game known as
yeah.
If I'm powered down, restart me.
Behind the scenes
You leave me for scrap,
of
I'll kill
San
you.
Andreas. This all started back during a separate investigation back in the day of the Shady Creeks creature in
What?
2008,
What?
where near the end of the video a strange creature can be seen staring the player down. This sparked a hunt for the creature and many players started to claim it was Pigsy from Banjo. There is a bit of evidence supporting this claim, like the fact Pigsy is
Let's get this
technically in
done.
the game featured as an action figure located at Zero's RC shop.
Shutting them
With
down.
heavy modding, it's impossible to tell if there was any evidence that this is actually real. People have searched the back
that
end of the
dart is
game too,
horrible.
and there's no Pigsy. But it's still cool that Pigsy can make it in the game.
Oh my god, Neon, what are you
Spike down
doing?
By the way,
Back off.
Refresh.
I probably wouldn't stand as much of a chance against the big
Yo, how'd the
but
bomb
man,
get over
at
there,
least
though?
There's a chance he won't eat me, bro. He might just eat my babies.
How is that or not?
Everyone knows that.
Maybe next time someone shouldn't give me the fucking
The
bomb.
80s were a
Maybe
pretty
someone
rough time,
else should
dude.
take the
I
bomb.
wasn't around.
One enemy remaining.
It's left over from that time. I'm not jealous
I
of
seen
y'all.
Jen on
I'll
road
just say
somewhere.
that. Some of the rumors that were going around back in the day were the direct result of no immediate action.
Brief, tragic life.
Gamers just left to their own degenerative minds. This is really how the Nude Samus rumor began for the first Metro
Find
game
the
on
weakest
NES
link.
back in
Kick
the
'em in
day.
the shed.
ending of the game already
Gotta
featured
go.
a bombshell moment, or at least considered
Yeah,
that back
Spike,
in
fuck
the day,
that.
that the whole time Samus was actually a woman. While some people wanted to see a little bit more and started rumors that there was a way to see even more from Samus at the end of the game. And some of these methods included beating the game multiple times, 100%ing the game, and other methods that clearly never worked. While I think this highlights the desperation of the yesteryears, it's also not that surprising.
Go, go, go.
Knife deployed.
The hunt begins!
One suppressed.
Searching for more, dude.
Enemy spotted. Dropping smokes.
You and YouTube being two of the most powerful
Have a kit.
Pokemon
Refreshing.
left
Healing
millions of
you.
players and fans of Pokemon wondering if there was ever going to be a Mew 3. While there still hasn't been a Mew 3 added to the series, there have been several references to
Light
the
planted.
practice of Pokemon throughout the years, making fans hopeful for a future appearance. There have been specific
Barrier
rumors surrounding
created.
Mew 3's existence in the Pokemon games throughout another theory we'll talk about further down the list known as Pokegods,
Heaven.
which are a rumored line of Pokemon that are often just fan creations that are
One enemy remaining.
the biggest semi-official reference to Mew 3 comes from the
Knife
Pokemon
deployed.
manga that shows a comedy
One shot, dude.
One suppressed.
Literally one shot, dude. Damn.
While the Pokemon does switch back after the battle with Mewtwo, this is the closest we
I'll
get
shut them
to a
down.
semi-official
Until then,
Mew 3 appearance.
survive.
Other than this, an offhand comment is mentioned by a scientist in the anime that states that they are now done working on Mewtwo, that they should probably start work on Mew 3. It's a pretty throwaway line, but it's still one of the only official mentions of Mew 3. Some believe the appearance of Mewtwo in armor from the film Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back, a great piece of cinema by the way, is actually Mew 3 since he was technically stronger than Mewtwo, but that's kind of a stretch in my book. Hopefully we
Shutting
will
them
see a
down.
Mew 3 one day.
Revealing area. Enemy spotted B.
The likes we
There
haven't
they
seen.
are.
Back like I never left. Go, go, go. Shortcut.
With so much respect throughout the game. Now I don't know where to fall on the effect of hiding Chief's face and how this plays further.
Take this.
One enemy remaining.
More of the games. I don't know. I don't think I'd die on the hill that he's never taken it off. He's got to take a shower or a huge running
And we're clear.
As when a Spartan is about to die, they'll take it off in an act of defiance, and we've seen many times throughout the series. When a
One
Spartan is
downside
about
to being
die.
immortal.
It's like a TV show with a
I
side
can't play
character
dead.
with a little bit too much run time. However, there are also scenes where other characters have seen Master Chief's face in the games, even when the player isn't privy to it, so it's not like he's running around with the helmet on all the time anyways. The games have slowly revealed and teased more of Master Chief's actual face, showing close-ups like in Halo 4's legendary ending, but even though the show revealed Chief's face way too soon into it, I don't think it's the worst thing to maybe see what Master Chief looks like one day.
Suppress it.
At the end of the day, it's just going to be an old white guy's face.
There
Two
they are.
suppressed.
What do you guys think, huh? Would you rather never actually know, or do you think they'll just piecemeal Chief's face?
Dropping smokes.
Reloading.
Into those actions?
No one walks away.
Thanos right foot and weird shit like that. This is gonna be pretty hard to get back into.
Throwing charge.
I'm a big fan of Mario Odyssey. The idea that there was a really good chance that Isle Delfino would have made it in as a kingdom.
One enemy remaining.
It's still TRT.
Flawless.
I already lost my shit in the game.
That lot was trash.
My favorite game ever, Super Mario 64. But Sunshine references would assist.
Everyone's motor functions okay?
The worst part is
I know
while
kids
this
get
is
tired.
confirmed officially, all of the evidence points to the fact that
I'm
this
outta
was 100%
here.
planned for the final game, but was likely cut due to time constraints. Evidence left in the game and early promotion art show that Isle Delfino was definitely part of the map and located just off the left side of the Mushroom Kingdom. Not only that, but in the final game, with the lighting to hit the globe right, you can see a bumpy texture
outta
of the
here.
globe that clearly used to belong to Isle Delfino, and like a shitty apartment complex, they just painted right over that
Suppress
thing,
it.
and no one would notice, no one would be the wiser. Some think
One
that this
suppressed.
is an Easter egg, but the shoddy job to cover their tracks really proves to me.
Kill
One
confirmed.
enemy remaining.
They've been pushing the release date up. They decided to leave it out. Hopefully we'll see something including Isle Delfino, even if it's just a team
But hell, it's been so long.
Match point.
They're fighting to the
But at
end.
least we have things
Typical
like Super Mario
and pointless.
Yeah, did I step it up, bro?
I haven't got around to
Nah, you
playing
stepped
yet.
it all the way up,
Burn
bro.
scenes and
Nah,
icebergs, but I
bro.
plan to get to
I
it
fuck
soon.
with that, that
It's
was-
looking pretty wild.
Lock in for the breast.
As we've seen thus far,
Understand that.
urban legends and games
Yeah, I
are
feel
often
you, bro.
ignored or brushed off by developers,
sure.
and rarely
Feel
they are
you.
embraced and encouraged by the original creator. Perhaps the most surprising story of an urban legend turned into a real character happened
Knife deployed.
Revealing area.
Mortal Kombat. If you're familiar with the series
Gotta go.
nowadays, you've probably heard of
Shortcut.
Ermac, as he's a
Wall
recurring
raised.
character since Mortal Kombat 3. But before this, the character was never
Drop
even
in a
existed.
smoke.
Due to a pretty common error in Mortal Kombat 2, the game
It's you and me.
testing mode
Pew pew.
Bye-bye. Patterns, and their names were changed to Ermac. This led many players to believe that Ermac was a secret character in the game that was a full
I still
variation
have
Have one of these.
of
Hi.
this wasn't a
Piss.
character at all, and
One enemy remaining. Last player
Ermac
standing.
comes from the paraphrasing of error macros. The fact that Ed Boon and the team were so aware of their player base that not only 2 years later Ermac was a playable character is honestly really cool, and I wish we still had developers.
Clutch.
Wow, that was so
Attackers win.
Yeah, like this here.
Party in the danger room.
The system from Smash Brothers is one of the things that made me fall in love with the game, as it made me feel like even though all these characters couldn't make it into the game as their own fighters, they're still represented in a small way. This often included secondary characters, and it was really cool to see them remodeled to fit their melee style. One of the ones that stood out to me was Daisy, and it wasn't because she's straight up slaying right here, alright? Maybe she is, but that's besides the point. If you clip the camera behind Daisy's hair, you can find a misplaced eye texture on the back of her head, making for a pretty gross image. I guess you could say she's got eyes in the back of her head. Yeah,
Easy,
there's
I'm
never
one
been an
game
official
off
statement from
bronze.
Sakurai or Nintendo on the mistake, but the game was known to be
Nah,
rushed,
you
so
mad
errors
touch
like
though,
this
Cody.
shouldn't be that surprising. This is something Nintendo struggles with often,
Is
like
it?
when Donkey Kong's model in Mario Kart Wii had a misplaced
Mad
mouth
tough.
texture on his toe. Who knew a little body horror with Nintendo characters would go a long way? I remember people trying to say that the third eye was canon on Daisy, and every iteration of her had it, but of course this was just taking the simple developer mistake to another level. The moon is one of the more mysterious places in the Pokemon universe, with urban legends of Pokemon only being able to be caught on the moons, starting all the way back in Pokemon Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald. There was a rumor that you could take a spaceship from Moss Deep City to travel to the moon in order to catch the legendary Pokemon Jirachi and Deoxys. This was supposedly based on the number of successful rocket launches the station had, and when it reached a designated number, be it 50, 99, or 100, the player would then be able to use the rocket themselves to get straight up in space. This turned out to be fake, as there unfortunately is no way to get to space in these games, but this wasn't exactly the end of this rumor. In a twist of fate, this urban legend became somewhat true, as in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. You're actually able to go to space on the back of Rayquaza in order to fight and catch Deoxys. It's never been stated if this was a reference to the rumor from back in the day by the game developers, but at least it seems to be a slight nod to this urban legend. As far as Pokemon Urban Legends go, this one wasn't that wild. It seemed like it had a good chance of being real, but alas, you can be no Rocket Man in Pokemon. The Diablo 2 chat gym is a legendary myth from the early PC gaming days that fooled everyone who ran into it, just about everyone. This occurred in the chat menus of Diablo 2, where a small gem could be seen and is clickable. After clicking the gem, it would change color with a text pop-up reading, "Gem activated." With a pretty vague description, players were never really sure what the gem did, if anything at all. There was a lot of speculation that the gem would buff your other gems in your inventory when getting a perfect gem click. A perfect gem click occurred randomly and simply stated in the chat box, "Perfect gem activated," when it was obtained. This was thought to make every other gem in your inventory upgraded to perfect gems, but it turns out that this wasn't the case at all. And according to Blizzard at the time, when questioned about the gem's purpose, they simply stated, "The gem is working as intended." It wasn't until years later Jay Wilson, lead designer of Diablo 3, stated that the gem isn't coming back in that game and that it definitely didn't do anything in Diablo 2 in the first place. It seems that this was simply a troll on the part of developers to waste players' time and making them think they're actually doing something in the game, when in reality, it did absolutely nothing. It comes off as a pretty elaborate troll when considering the blunt response from Blizzard in
constant vagueness when discussing the gym itself. It's a pretty cool troll, pretty legendary. Now, only if they could troll the whole industry and release good games again, that'd be really cool. Maybe we'll work on that one, guys. It's time to hit an actual real phenomena from GTA San Andreas. It's about fucking time. And this one's actually pretty creepy if you run into it naturally in the game. The ghost cars in GTA San Andreas sounds like your typical fake rumor from a GTA game, but this occurs
Match
in
found.
San Andreas, and if you're in the right setting, it can be downright creepy. There are several places across the map where old junker cars will spawn when the players near them on top of a hill and will naturally roll down the hill, making it seem like the car is driving itself. This can only happen with certain cars, and it won't always happen in the same spots, but if you're lucky or lucky enough to see it, it'll likely look out of place. The cars always, at best, look like they are drivers whose brakes were cut, and at worst look like a cult of sentient vehicles that are finally taking their independence. It's unknown if this is a simple glitch with unfortunate spawns for these vehicles, or if it was done intentionally to spook the player out. All I know is it worked, makes me feel like I'm playing out a Stephen King novel, or perhaps I'm catty corner to a Mark Wahlberg in a The Happening.
What? No.
The number stations from Fallout 3 is one of the most infamous urban legends from the game and the whole series. It tells of a player who ended up killing the radio host, Three Dog, then began to hear a strange code begin to play over the radio instead of the typical music. The code is read out by a pre-recorded Three Dog who doesn't sound as excited as he did when he was doing his regular radio show before you committed third-degree murder. The numbers seem to be random, but as the story goes, internet sleuths were able to decipher some messages from the seemingly random assortment of numbers. There are an assortment of messages mainly being loose predictions of future events, like a quote that states, "I can't believe Britney's actually won an Oscar. Keep not believing it because it never happened." This date was set for February 27th, 2023, and of course no one named Britney ever won an Oscar, most likely referring to Britney Spears. Another prediction wrongly guessed the death date of the Queen, predicting it would happen in 2014, just off by just a few years on that one. Just a few. If not for the dates not lining up, there is clear evidence in the game showing that this phenomenon doesn't happen after you kill Three Dog. For example, if you do kill him, he will be replaced by Margaret in the game, who will be an unenthused employee with her job and will constantly mention the murder of Three Dog, making you feel real guilty. This was a super interesting take on a creepypasta in the Fallout universe, and it kept it grounded in that universe, making it seem legit. But unfortunately, all you get from killing Three Dog is lack of sleep at night. If there was one Smash Bros. Character that probably should have got a spot on the roster just due to how long he's been requested is Gino from Super Mario RPG. I've never been much of an advocate for the homie, but I think he got robbed by just getting a Mii outfit to compensate for him never really making it as a full fighter. During the last DLC packs for Ultimate, the hype for seeing Gino finally making it into the game was so real, and it was evident from fans biting onto any piece of evidence to hold out hope. Surely this time it'll be true. One of the biggest leaks pertaining to Gino was known as the Kako Malo leak, and it consisted of a leak of Mii outfits that included the Kako Demon and Malo from Super Mario RPG. This was all the proof people needed to tie these Mii outfits to either Doom Guy or Gino getting a spot as a fighter, and since this leaked at a time where Mii costumes were really hard to mod into the game, it seemed really legit. But a few days after the leak, more Mii costume mods began to come out, disproving the biggest piece of evidence this theory had. Of course, the leak was fake, even though it was really convincing, and whoever did the mod did a great job, especially in Malo. Hell, this Mii costume is also the closest we ever got to getting Toad in the game, too. Check out the drip. Let's do a quick drip check.
These are flame blue jeans. These are shoes I picked up in Mexico. Ooh, this is maybe Prada. This is...
Chris Houlihan is supposedly a winner of an early Nintendo Power contest where if you won, you'd have your name entered into the newest Legend of Zelda game that would have been at the time A Link to the Past. This room actually does exist within A Link to the Past, but like the contest stated, it would be a very hard room to see. And man, they weren't lying. There still isn't a 100% foolproof way to access the room, and it's speculated that the secret room is actually only available after triggering a failsafe if Link's Y-axis returns an error in the game. Therefore, you need to try to kind of trick the game into triggering the failsafe, and while there is a few ways to increase your odds of triggering it, you need to practice it for sure. It basically consists of Link using the Pegasus boots and reaching the secret passage outside the castle in a certain way, consisting of maintaining the correct axis coordinates and ensuring you're dashing upon certain transitions. Nobody said to be easy. If you're lucky enough to trigger the entrance, you'll fall into a room with 45 blue rupees and a plaque on the wall that reads, "My name is Chris Houlihan. This is my top secret room. Keep it between us, okay?" There's never been an official statement from the Chris Houlihan, leading many to believe Chris doesn't even actually exist, but Nintendo has confirmed that the contest winner theory was correct, stating in a 1994 issue of Club Nintendo, a Latin Nintendo magazine at the time, stating, "Chris Houlihan is the name of a boy who won a Nintendo Power Contest, and with it, he also won the right to have his name programmed in the Zelda A Link to the Past game." The most intriguing part of this mystery is that it doesn't appear as it does in the US version in the international releases of the game, still featuring the room but without the Chris Houlihan shout-out, and the room was completely removed from the Game Boy Advance remake. I guess that contest prize had an expiration date on it, Chris? I wonder if all this was in the fine print. Mr. Houlihan, we might have a case on our hands. I know a guy. He'll straighten you out. A game that is made by a guy who makes Stanley Parable is for sure going to have some fuckery with it. Then you throw in that Sauce guy who made that cartoon, and you'll get one of the deepest urban legends to ever grace virtual reality gaming. Accounting Plus is a VR game by William Pugh and Justin Roiland that featured quirky VR gameplay and was well received for being an early VR game that was actually polished and fleshed out. Initially, the game was just known as Accounting before an updated version was announced at the 2017 Game Awards, where the developers mentioned a secret zoo level. Other evidence of there being a secret zoo level in the game were seen in the gameplay and other hints during the trailers for the game. This is what would launch one of the most ridiculous ARGs in video games, dealing with sentient English-speaking frogs, tadpole sacrifices, and a bunch more. It sounds really dumb and cringe to me, but it's also a unique way to keep your game relevant with fans even after release. Since then, the search is still on for the zoo level, and it's only speculation if the zoo level is actually even in the game. It's not impossible that it hasn't been found yet. I mean, it's terrible had an achievement for not playing the game for 5 years. Who knows what this guy's capable of? For now, though, I know when my chain's being yanked, alright? Pause. But until I see proof, I'm a skeptic of the zoo level. This urban legend turned glitch was a creepy mystery from the Misery Mire section of A Link to the Past. The rumor stated there were ghosts that haunted the swamp, but they were incredibly hard to see and wouldn't harm Link, but would always be around, watching. The only way to see these ghouls is to use the Bombos medallion, which will set the ghost on fire, with the fire being the only visible aspect of the figure. This can and will happen in the final game, and is actually a glitch that occurs where invisible entities known as Fireball Zora, which are enemies that are otherwise in the game but have no business being in the mire and are invisible. This seems to be either an oversight from developers overall, or it was purposely left in the game and just changed invisible to save time. But either way, the final effect this glitch has on the game is definitely spooky, whichever way you run into it, whether it be setting these guys ablaze or just sticking your fucking sword out and running forward. Here we are again, guys, with another new female character cheat code rumor from the 90s this time. It was a different time! What can we say? Regardless of how poorly the whole nude raider thing aged, it was still one of the most prominent gaming urban legends in the 90s. So much so that developers started to troll the community because of it. The main way it was speculated to see Laura's goods would be to input a cheat code with one of the video game magazine publications, even putting an article on how to access the cheat code. This included getting a buddy and plugging in a second controller, slamming the sticks to the rhythm of Spice Girls' tune Wannabe, and apparently when questioned why it was included, a spokesperson stated they weren't worried about anyone under 18 getting the code correctly, since they, quote, said, "We don't think anyone under 18 has the rhythm to access this mode." And this really should have been the point most people took a step back and realized they're being duped, they're being trolled, they're being pranked. But since
Match
the article
found.
included images of what these cheat codes supposedly did, and many players believed it. The rumor persisted so much so that the developers added a more risque scene in the ending of Tomb Raider 2 where Lara Croft will shoot the camera when it almost gets a peek at her in the shower. This clearly bothered developers as they stated their distaste with the over-sexualization of Laura, even stating, even during development, someone at perhaps half jokingly asked us for something similar, and we told them to bog off. suggesting that they were being slightly pressured by management to include more lewd imagery with Laura. Shouts out to these developers for sticking to their guns, their moral code, and letting the dumb rumor of dirty youngins back in the day die out. Gamers predicting what's next in the line of console gaming is nothing new and has been around since video games started numbering their consoles.
Thanks.
About halfway through a generation,
Finally,
talks of a
holy
new
shit.
console will begin to float around with speculations on all aspects of the console, including design, specs, and most fun, the name. Perhaps one of the most well-known name predictions was the Xbox 360 sequel, which maneuvered with double the 360's number, making it Xbox 720. This didn't really make a whole lot of sense if you took a step back and considered that the actual reason 360 is named 360, it's a full circle. So what are we going to do? We're just doing circles now? What are we getting ourselves dizzy here? This was a dumb name for a console, but a likely option, and man, I don't think anyone could have expected that Xbox would have went with Xbox One. And I'm still not sure which one of these is worse, to be honest. It's worth noting that the Xbox 720 was so commonly used as vernacular back in the day for the next Microsoft console. It was even used as a fake advertisement in the film Real Steel with Hugh Jackman. This was a tactic used to fill out a futuristic stadium fully equipped with futuristic advertisements, including the Xbox 720. If it were actually true, there wouldn't be any video game console advertisement here, because with the way the industry is going, I don't know if it'll still be around by the time we get to boxing robots. Portal's backstory and lore is already a lot deeper.
We could make a storm. Sounds reckless.
Sure,
why not?
It gets even darker as we start to dissect the main antagonist of the series, GLaDOS, who's often been seen to resemble a woman being gagged and bound upside down. This rumor started based off a developer commentary in the game talking about the design of GLaDOS, wanting her to be powerful yet also feminine, and this was before it was revealed that GLaDOS was made up of Kate Johnson's assistant Caroline's consciousness. This rumor is still just speculation, with some darker rumors going around that voice actors refused to read certain lines as they related to sexual assault, and the game often being labeled as sexist as a whole because of this. Listen, I don't know about all that. I'm not here to say either or.
Deployed.
It does clearly resemble either.
One suppressed.
Or at the very least, as the developers have referenced themselves, this is a direct reference to the painting Birth of Venus. Regardless of what GLaDOS is, it's no surprise her story is one of tragedy and sinister as one of the best antagonists in a game to this date. You feel annoyed because of her constant monitoring and
Spike planted.
But you also feel for her as her origin story is a very dark one. It's likely we won't ever see GLaDOS
Enemy
again,
spotted A.
Reloading. I'm out of here.
Enemy spotted
One enemy
Target
remaining.
dead.
The children of Goldshire are introducing a group of kids that can be spotted walking in a strange formation near Goldshire in World of Warcraft.
Suppress
The
it.
group is made up of 6 kids who have a scheduled walk that starts at 7 a.m. from their house in Goldshire. Then they'll walk a path all the way to Stormwind City before walking
This
back to
is
their house
our
about
home.
an hour later. If you follow the children into their house, they'll go up to the bedroom where you can hear some creepy-ass sounds like a banshee screaming, a
Continue
strange
to fight.
ghoul call,
Continue
and the
to win.
character Fun saying, "You will die." Death is close. Not only that, but there is
Go,
a
go,
couple
go.
of small skeletons and bones near the house in the backyard, making many players believe that these kids are actually ghosts.
Angel, when are you moving?
Dark demons.
I don't even know.
That and the fact that when the children are doing their scheduled walks, the formation they take upon is the shape of a pentagram. Something that the developers would later deny, stating it was just the way they were programmed to follow the middle child canon.
Suppress it.
Specifically, John Stat stated that
Two suppressed.
to the Blizzard Dungeon team would be names of the children relating to an employee on that team each. While this was just a silly secret that players took the wrong way, it's still a creepy small Easter egg that reminded many of the children of the Corn, wherein this group of kids was a strange cult who were known to
Watch out! I'm out of here.
One enemy remaining. Spike down mid. Team Ace.
Oh yeah.
The shadow figures in single-player Gmod has been a strange mystery.
I still can't get over that owl silver. It's too cute. Why is it so cute?
This phenomenon has been happening forever, and it seems to have weird popularity dips. Like in the past few years, there's been a lot of ARGs claiming that this guy does exist, but the urban legend goes further back. This is thought to happen.
Have you been in a game with the Riot, buddy?
Or
with the Riot
players who aren't
person?
expecting another entity on these maps.
Track
There's
them
an occurrence
down.
that can happen that reveals a shadow man by the name of
Heal the right,
Silver,
buddy.
who is a placeholder for
Shutting them down.
all games taken in third person. However, even with this actually being in the game, people still claim to see shadow figures outside of this function, and with the nature of Gmod, the evidence for these can't be taken at face value because it's so easy to fake this in this game specifically. If you look hard enough through, you can still find people claiming to see the shadow man in their single player games. Most people call it
all low.
cloud. I never played much of single player Gmod. I usually just
Spike down A.
Spike spotted A.
Yo, KJ's hella gay.
attempting to make
Block
people
the
One
think
enemy
about
remaining.
crazy. So I feel for anyone who might have actually ran into this phenomenon naturally. Good luck trying to
Spike
explain
spotted
it.
A.
And for these skeptics,
Shutting them down.
you
One suppressed.
never know. Maybe that's the time Shadow will show up. The world of 9/11 urban legends
Barrier
is a crazy one, and it's so extensive it even delves into the video game universe a bit. There have been many examples of different pieces of
Damn
media
right
that
we're crushing it.
attacks on the Twin Towers on 9/11, like the
Gotta go.
Simpsons, but one of the strangest was the exclusion of the Twin Towers in the first Deus Ex game. They were apparently left out due to memory issues removing the city skyline, and they explained it as the fact that the towers fell due to a terrorist attack. The game was released in the year 2000, making for a pretty shut and closed
Can I
case.
sneak
that
out?
predicted 9/11, right?
Hey.
I mean, the buildings aren't there. Where'd they go? Well, if you're not aware, before the one that actually worked, there were other terrorist attempts to
Knife deployed.
towers, like the one in the 90s where a car
One
bombed
suppressed.
the parking lot in the building. So this could be a reference to the attacks before the big one of 9/11. Regardless, it is pretty grim whether or not the developers were actually time travelers or not. I'm leaning more not. It just makes it seem like the buildings were not going to be safe from the disaster.
Spike down B.
Sometimes life has a weird way of predicting itself, and I think that
Go,
this
go, go.
instance, in this instance, is
Shock it.
One
Okay,
enemy
here we go.
remaining.
it's not often
Survivors rest. I'll clean up.
including equipping to my joystick and not find an answer to their search. But this
I
time
know
it happened.
what
So
must be
subreddits
done.
are used to help people find obscure things that they are thinking of without knowing the original name. Oftentimes, look at things like obscure songs you heard when you were a kid. But the particular post we're
I can
talking
buy for
about
you.
for this entry was for a strange-sounding farming simulator game. A post by the title, this
Need a
game
drop.
was kind
Thanks.
of like Harvest Moon. Sparta 213 was made to the Tip of My Joystick subreddit, where they inquire about a farming game where they remember hearing about a Harvest Moon type of game, but the
Knife
twist
deployed.
was you murdered your wife and then you constantly invade the police by hiding your body anytime they stop by your farm. They stated they remember it around 2015 and was pretty sure it wasn't a browser game, as a lot of people suggested that the strange concept was likely a result of an unknown Flash game that didn't exist anymore. However, the truth to the mystery was a lot more
Healing
humorous
you.
than at first. It turns out that Sparta 213 didn't in fact play this game because it never even existed. The fabrication of the game actually came from streamer Vinesauce Joel during an Earth Defense Force stream, where Joel can jokingly be heard talking about the premise of the game to a
They're
crazy
A-side.
accurate degree to what Sparta 213 stated.
Spike planted.
Radiant kill. Cancel.
One enemy remaining.
3 kills.
Harvest Moon, it's just regular Harvest Moon with your wife, and midway in the game you have an argument with your wife,
Shutting
and
them
you
down.
accidentally kill her.
After this was circulated, Sparta did respond and admitted that they used to watch and even fall asleep to Vinesauce Joel streams. They must have confused the joke for a real game while falling asleep. It's crazy.
Last
what
player
they do
standing.
is-
Clutch.
Oh!
This guy just made a case for a crazy good farming simulator all by accident.
I saw that.
Well,
What the
with
fuck?
the help of Joel, of course. At the end of it
What
all,
will it
too,
be
there
this
is
time?
now a real
Have
evil
any
farming
patterns
game
emerged?
someone made
I'm outta
based
here.
on
Oh
the
no, did I
available
really?
to play on Steam. Listen, I don't know if it's
What the
good.
fuck?
The original version of the game. But to know a real game came out of this misinterpretation is really cool and something that doesn't happen often. In the early days of Fortnite, the rumors and myths were pretty tame and didn't involve who's the next superhero who's gonna get Fortnite'ified. Is it gonna be Danger Duck?
Shutting them down.
Who's next? Is it gonna be fucking Big Wheel? If you're not familiar, the llamas in Fortnite
Get out of my
were
way!
boxes of storage that often gave the player a rare elite
Spike
if they
down
were
A.
successful in that. There were only 3 that could spawn during one match of the Battle Royale, and the rumor surrounded the fact that if you were able to get all 3 of the llama wings in the game, then you get a rare cosmetic prize known as the Bright Bag. Well, I need that Bright Bag. I'm addicted to cosmetics. This was an extremely hard rumor to disprove, as the chances of getting all
all 3 llamas in a game is extremely rare. It only happened once on video where this player got extremely lucky to run into all 3, which spawned right near one another and hadn't been touched yet. This is finally
You should run.
Welcome to my world.
Got a bunch of rare gun drops and loot, and no bright path.
Suppress it.
Spike
It's
planted.
unlikely that Fortnite
One
would have
suppressed.
hidden a way to get free cosmetics, as that's their main way to make money with the game. So it's no wonder that this rumor turned out to be fake. It was pretty smart by whoever started the rumor to make it extremely hard. It's impossible to trying to find code and do it. You know, you can't 100% say it's not possible. You can't do it.
Enemy spotted A. Good attempt. My ultimate is ready.
It's not often that fans are so desperate for
Last
special
player
news that
standing.
They start theorizing about possible assist trophies, not fighters, assist trophies. But during the demo pre-release phase of Smash Bros. 4 for Wii U and 3DS, that's exactly what happened, as those who got to play the game early started to claim that Chunky Kong from Donkey Kong 64 would make an appearance as an assist trophy. A few fake images leaked to help prove the myth, but after some time passed, most of the legit assist trophies had been confirmed, with still no confirmation of Chunky yet. Of course, it turns out that this was a hoax, and the original creator even came out to say that it was a hoax and described the reasoning was to expose other hoaxes, as he know it was fake if they included a Chunky Kong assist trophy. We'll come to find later in the iceberg that this isn't a new strategy that publications and other people have practiced for a while to seek out fake news. Even though it was a hoax, it still introduced a super cool idea for a trophy that I personally like to see one day. Get some Donkey Kong 64 representation. The main move Chunky would perform
Spike
would be
down
bang
A.
on the bottom of the screen, dropping large quantities of bananas to fall from the top of the screen, either to block the player's views or as projectiles for the player to dodge or something. I love me some Donkey Kong 64, as you guys know, and the characters exclusive to that game don't get a lot of limelight nowadays, so I'm all here for this. And hell, if we're dreaming, let's get all the Kongs in there as fighters, Lanky included. He'd be like a
Got him. My ult's ready.
Last player standing.
If you don't know, Dream Daddy is a dating simulator in which you play as single dads looking for
Spike planted.
dating simulator that has many branching paths with different options to see in the game. One of these endings was suspected to be in the game for a while, but was really hard to find
from the
and
front.
came to be known as the occult ending. This would have happened during Joseph's third date, or the last part of Joseph's path. This ending would have seen your character awake in a dungeon with Joseph standing over you, explaining that what's happening is real. It's no dream. It's revealed slowly that Joseph has been working to feed a greater entity, and was the reason that there were so many single dads in the area, as he was the one sacrificing their past loved ones. It turns out that Joseph was swooning over the players in order to get the perfect sacrifice. But before Joseph could carry this out, Mary saves the day by stabbing Joseph and saving the main player. In the end, Joseph is supposedly arrested for embezzling church money with no further mention of the sacrifices. And the player then has a chance to start dating the investigator into Joseph's case. Man, this is, yeah, didn't take any time to get over that one, did you? So yeah, the best way to get over almost demon, you know,
Kill confirmed.
Place to see where Night goes. The ending was initially cut from the final game before it was found by data miners in a working form. After this, the developers then came out and made a statement before making the mission available as an Easter egg, and full struggle for finally getting to play out the darkest ending in the game.
Knife deployed.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Went unnoticed by players for a long time. The few games that Strange included New Super Mario Bros. DS, where he would seemingly appear in a ghost house in the game. Next to can be seen where he's
what the fuck?
DS, with another image of the creature coming out online as recent as Super Mario Maker.
I'll survive a dent or two. Can't say the same for you, fragile
This
humans.
team sucks. You guys fucking suck.
Of course, the entity is completely fake, having never shown up in any of these games.
No comms, no nothing. Fuck you guys.
These games' backends. The origin story behind the creature.
Do we deserve to lose? Because I can make us lose.
We can overcome.
About the entity, he dodged the question.
Oh yes? Okay, bad.
Upset, which is
Knife deployed.
The guy is usually pretty jolly. He's a jolly good fella. Apparently, this made him really upset. This shook him. Listen, to me, it sounds like this kid had a little PTSD from his last doctor's visit. That's just me. This was initially made to be humorous with nothing more to about scrupulous, but some find the creature is still a little bit unnerving, especially from the Super Mario 64 DS render, where the creature was
Spike planted.
Ignore me forever, Mario, alluding to the possibility that Figor has always been following Mario around and was never visible until now.
Your duty is not.
Shang Long is one of the most legendary
Last player standing.
in the early 90s. This originally started in Street Fighter II when players misheard a victory phrase by Ryu, which really read as "you must defeat
One enemy
Spike,
remaining.
move.
referring to
Gotta go.
the Shiryu. Many players assumed that this was a reference to a secret boss that
Gotta
Ryu
go.
was referencing, stating,
I didn't
"Hey,
come here
go
to
shake
die."
up with Shang Long, then come back and let me kick your ass some more, because you ain't nothing till you fight that old Long."
Clutch.
We were talking about Wukong.
Try that again.
Right, that guy
I
kicked my
dare
fucking
you.
ass. Rather, Ryu
bet I
was
was
stating
really
he needed
laggy.
to defeat his uppercut move to
They
test
stumble.
him, but it was
I'm outta here.
translation, and the rumors began going wild, ape, some might say. Much like Mortal Kombat rumors back in the day, the rumor that Shang Long was a secret boss to fight and or a playable character started to pop up all around the internet. The myth got even more legs when known print journalism troll EGM decided to take the legend to another level. They developed 2 ads that revealed how to find and fight Shang Long with methods including playing as Ryu and not taking a single hit until reaching a
Suppressing.
bison, where you would then have to survive 10 rounds by not attacking him, but also not letting him attack you. With this ridiculous task at hand, it was another nearly impossible task to disprove. And much like the earlier EGM hoaxes, they of course had images and photo evidence to help. And these guys were king trolls back then. They would again publish another article around the pre-release of Street Fighter 3, claiming once again that Shang Long was in the game and how to get him this time with an easier task of only needing to get 6 perfect wins in a row. These were taken at face value a lot of times since the usual audience seeing these were kids, so these articles only served
Spike
to
down,
spread
mid.
even further to the point where even Capcom started to notice. Capcom would slowly start to make more references.
You should run.
Facing interviews, but it wasn't until very recently with the release of Street Fighter 6 that players would finally be able to fight Shang Long. In a way, in a fashion. During the World Tour, players can find Shang Long during
Spike
the
planted.
Fighting Mighty side mission, where you end up finally going mano-a-mano with the legend himself. Fittingly, he is also one of the hardest opponents in the World Tour mode, living up to the rumors of his insanely difficult moveset to go against. There, it appears they made him a custom character
Scanning
creator
ahead.
in the game, and while it does look like Shang Long, he also looks a little bit busted. I mean, you can't really help it. I mean, it's the best they could have done with a character creator that also likes to make something
One
like this,
enemy
but still,
remaining.
it is a bit
Last
bittersweet
player
that
standing.
This is when we finally get to fight the legend itself. It's just kind of, it's like a balloon deflating.
It's a fucking 10 health, bro.
There hasn't been a more intimidating final Smash boss than Master Hand. In my
Even with
opinion,
numbers,
and he
anything can
sticks
still
out
happen.
to me as
Remember,
the
I'm outta
most
here.
simplest design, while also
Idiots,
being
bro.
weirdly expressive. The idea of
10
playing as
health.
Master Hand has been around since the
And my
N64
fucking
version,
ping,
but
bro.
It wasn't until a glitch was discovered in Melee that this could actually come to
Thanks.
fruition in a way. The glitch was done by making the game think you didn't select a fighter, defaulting to a default character 1A, which is Master Hand actually. To pull this off, you need to plug at least 3 controllers in and execute the glitch with the third controller. And if
Scanning
done right,
ahead.
the third player will start the match as Master Hand. He is pretty limited as he doesn't move
Mahir
around on his
Feho's
own.
grown
He
A.
can only move around the match by attacking, so good luck with that. If you do end up winning as Master Hand, the game will crash as well, seeing as there is no programmed victory screen for him. This was a far cry from what we actually wanted.
Multiple enemies A.
Back in the day, it was good enough. The World of Light mode, where players would
Spike
officially
planted.
play as Master Hand in a special match. It's not clear if this was already an idea floating around the development office, or if this was inspired by the old glitch. But regardless, it's a really cool concept. Finally, play as one of the
148
coolest
hour range.
antagonists
The
in
Viper.
series.
Last player standing.
Surprising we don't see more urban legends surrounding racing characters in video games, but I guess the characters in racing games, fighting games. Still though, even with that in mind, there are still a few infamous urban legends that tell of secret unlockable racers.
Last round in the half.
Crash
Yeah,
point
how about we
saving.
fucking
Buy us
lose,
all.
bro?
had a rumor that you
You're
could
fucked.
unlock and race as the main antagonist in the game, Nitrous Oxide. Initially, this started out as your typical secret character unlock myth that asked the player to do a ridiculous number of things to unlock the character, of which you needed to collect all of the game's platinum relics, defeating Nitrous Oxide, all of the
follow the nitrous oxide ghost in a specific order and find
Shutting them down.
Right circle, triangle, left, down, circle, triangle, left, while holding both the L1 and R1.
No one walks away.
This wouldn't net any unlock. This was just a full player waste their time. I mean, I wasted plenty of
One
time.
enemy remaining.
Spell that
Spike
code
down,
out.
mid.
It wasn't until someone began to lock the game with a Game Shark device that they were actually able to swap out Eraser for nitrous oxide.
Too advanced, even for you.
To be fair, this method wouldn't work on every map. So it's
Switching
pretty
sides.
unreliable, but still possible. Luckily, when the game's remake came
Level
out, they
heads
added
until
nitrous
we're home,
oxide
yes?
to the roster as a playable character, and even cashed in on this urban legend and offered him up for immediate use if you pre-ordered the game. Gotta love whack-ass pre-order bonuses like this, man. Oh, you don't want
My
to play
team
the game to
sucks,
unlock
that's
this
why.
content? Get it free for now, and you don't have to play the game. The one you just bought and pre-ordered. It's ass backwards.
Go,
The
go, go!
Golden Warthog was a prominent rumor in Halo 2 back in the day and spawned from a number of advertisements and billboards that showed a unique yellow-colored warthog for sale. This was quickly
Deep
deemed the
breath.
Golden Warthog, and players started to investigate to see if there was one actually in the game or not.
Shutting
Like
them
other
down.
urban legends up until this point, there is a
Revealing area.
way to get where the Golden Warthog involved crazy.
Hostile
Of
KIA.
course, this turned out to be a hoax. Files revealed that the Golden Warthog doesn't exist.
Reloading.
Is there no shirt
A simple
or ghost
advertisement
or
of the
anything?
game. Probably just a good
Reloading.
background, let's be honest. However, the developers did add a version of the Golden Warthog to the Halo 2 Collector's Edition remake that could be found in the Forge and multiplayer, finally bringing this decades-old rumor to rest.
Last player standing.
Sonic Mario Kart
Spike down A. One enemy remaining.
One of the most filled out Mario Kart 64 tracks, fit with everything you'd expect to find in your typical Bowser's Castle, just confirming more impressive,
Oh,
more
my
of a
back
spectacle.
hurts.
But there's a certain feeling
Everyone's
of
so
claustrophobia
heavy.
and dread that I don't really get with any of these new tracks.
Race
One of
into the spike
creepiest parts
sites.
of the level for me as a kid that stuck out was a green thwomp held behind the bars.
Gotta go!
He is the only thwomp secluded away from the others, and his green tint always made him stick out even more to me, and apparently to others. This guy's name is Marty, as he is nicknamed by fans, and he is a special thwomp that is, for an unknown reason, held behind bars. If you drive up to Marty, he will grimace
us
or
hunt.
smile at the player, and that is kind of all he does. Marty sticks out like a sore
Gotta go.
thumb, so much so that people
Spike
started
drop.
revealing that he was an unlockable racer.
Suppress
Someone's
it.
in defender's spawn.
Spike.
Hail is real. It's
One
worth noting
suppressed.
that even though Marty appears green in the cage, he isn't actually in the castle, and it's just a lighting.
Enemy and defender
His
spawn.
nuclear tin, you know, nuclear. Nuclear. This can be seen best when the
I'm
level
outta
is
here.
brought back
Enemy
with Mario
spotted
Kart
I'm out of here.
Tango down.
even though the
Gotta
Fury
go.
One enemy remaining.
86.
there are mods out there where you can put a newer version of Marty into Mario, and it looks really sick. I love the modding community and their capabilities of bringing dumbass 90s kids' imaginative ideas to life.
Knife deployed.
Berserk and Frenzy were your typical arcade games straight out of the 80s, and featured gameplay where you played as an unnamed character going around fighting robots. Classic. The game doesn't seem like it's all that impressive nowadays, but the game has stuck out against others due to its eerie enemy known as Evil Otto, and the urban legends surrounding this Walmart logo of a video game. Evil Otto was the center of a bunch of urban legends in the early internet that told of a curse that came
Enemies
from the game
close.
and losing
Eyes
to
up.
Evil Otto. It said that he would inflict heart issues upon the players, and this came from a story of a kid who lost his life while playing the machine, and he suffered from a heart condition. This was enough fuel to start a wildfire of conspiracies, and after that, even more unconfirmed deaths started to pop up, launching the game into internet infamy. These claims of several people dying at the hands of Evil Otto is just plain false, but it is a bit more of a fleshed out legend
I'm
than
outta
that
here.
of Polybius, since the game actually did exist. And I gotta say, I don't think my heart would explode. There's something
Scanning ahead.
Suppressing.
Evil Otto, especially when he enters the screen and starts shouting, "Intruder alert!" It's pretty unsettling, but I don't think the Dollar General balloon was able to take
I'm
it
outta here.
from beyond the arcades. That kid had
satisfying.
GoldenEye, like other rare games, was known to have cut content that didn't make it into the final game. Most infamously, the other cut James Bond
Grenade out.
unreleased featured only Pierce Brosnan's Bond, but
Enemy
there were
spotted
quickly
B.
many rumors that the other Bonds at that point in the film were also unlockable and playable in the
Shutting them
Our good
down.
old friends, hey, they're back, right?
One suppressed.
Electronic Gaming Monthly, good old EGM. They played into this urban legend.
Last player standing.
Articles showing how to characters screen, and of course, in typical EGM fashion, the requirements to unlock them were damn near impossible. They also included supposedly non-doctored in-game images showing all the Bonds on the screen at once, plus a pretty convincing character select screen. This did nothing but extend the life expectancy of this rumor until finally it was confirmed by Rareware developers themselves
Please stay
that there
alive.
were plans to
I
have
hate
all the
making
James
new
Bonds
friends.
throughout the years playable, but were removed last minute before the game's final release. While they don't pinpoint
Go, go, go.
a very specific reason, they do hint at the fact that they didn't have licensing for these other actors' likenesses in the game, and in the interest of not getting sued by these guys, they don't appear in the final game. At this point, they need to make a GoldenEye Ultimate where you can play as every James Bond
Let's
and
fly.
the James Bond villain in the series thus far. Imagine Anton Chigurh.
Scanning ahead.
Knife deployed.
But this ain't that. Yeah.
Spike retrieved.
Hey, you game that's pretty ahead of its time, featuring Tamagotchi-like game.
Last player standing. Spike down B. Flawless.
A VRU, which was a microphone with a large 256 word
Sage,
database. That
you
was
saw.
Quiver
Get
is
the
never
fuck
full.
off,
Hey, Pikachu
bro.
was one of the only two
I'm outta
games
here.
that used this strange attachment for the N64 and was by far the most popular of the two. Even with the extra attachment as part of the bundle, it still sold well over 1 million units, which was pretty surprising. With the VRU attachment, you could directly communicate with Pikachu where he would respond in a number of ways, with some reactions being negative, Pikachu would become visibly upset. There was a rumor
Stay
for a
safe.
while
Gotta
that
go.
the word Sony and PlayStation were programmed into the VRU to specifically
Suppressing.
a negative
Revealing
remark
area.
on Pikachu when these were said by the player.
One
This was
suppressed.
believed to be a cheeky way for Nintendo to stoke the console war fires of yesteryear.
Please gotta kill
Turns out
Jet.
just to be a coincidence with the
Oh
word
my
soul,
god.
just so happens that other
Bad guy down. My ult's ready.
Honestly, though, if they remade this, it would be that Pikachu is like everyone else has been before. Definitely hates Sony for becoming what they hated, a monopoly.
Chad, you're so bad.
Like they did with the PS3. Now
You're
that's a
so
real reason.
bad. Oh
Last
my
player
god,
standing.
you didn't get a single kill. You guys are so
Much like the
bad,
Zelda
bruh.
animatronic rumors from 5 Nights
Oh
at
my
Freddy's 2,
god.
the boy from the same game was thought to have an animatronic version in the game
Oh
as
my
well.
god,
rumor's
this Jet
origin
is
started
fucking
based on
dog
a video
shit.
from 2015 that supposedly showed a dark version of the balloon boy that would be really hard to see in the dark atmosphere of the game.
Let's make a
Only
plan,
his
then
creepy-ass eyes
execute.
smiled.
Go, go,
This
go.
was also apparently only
Shit
able
is
to
so
see
dog
the
shit.
full
Oh
version
my
of FNAF 2,
god.
which makes the
Used
mystery
your
even
ult
more
and you didn't
obscure.
get
Of course,
one
the
kill. You
theory
didn't
in the
kill a
end
soul.
was a mistake with no Shadow Balloon Boy being added
Nah.
to the series since.
Never play
I feel
Jet
like the
ever
design
again.
of Shadow Balloon Boy would benefit
Never
some of the
play Jet
darker
ever
environments
again,
in the series,
please.
especially since you won't be able to see him
I'm out of here.
Don't worry.
You saw
I'll
it.
keep him quiet.
Better yet, probably good he was never in the final FNAF 2 game, you know, that night.
Shutting them
You got me
down.
crying for you, bruh. That's how much you suck.
One suppressed.
Like, that's sad as fuck.
Yoshi's story, while not as popular,
No one walks away.
Silence.
Healing.
unlike in Super Mario World 2, where you're escorting Baby Mario, but rather he's absent and you're just playing as a slew of Yoshis with each color
Light
adding
plastic.
to the player's lives. In the base game, when you started up, you only have 6 Yoshi color variants to choose from, with 2 more being unlockable than black
Be
and
at
white
peace.
Yoshi. While this seems like plenty of Yoshis to go around for how long the game is, there were rumors of another
Like
Yoshi being
Shameful.
unlockable in the game.
Shutting them down.
Purple
The
Yoshi.
KJ has the LMG.
Suppressed.
According to a
One
lot of
enemy
video
remaining.
websites back in the day, the way to unlock a unique color of Yoshi is
I would let you live,
It sounds
but that
easier
does
than
not
it actually
compute.
is, seeing as the game is broken up into paths requiring multiple players.
Activating
The
kill
rumor
mode.
was actually believed to
That's a joke.
Due to
Kill mode is default.
an image that came
Gotta
from
go.
the beta that shows 2 Yoshi colors, both purple and brown, which obviously didn't make it into the final
Go,
game,
go.
but were at some point playing. Not only this, but in the storybook
go.
opening for the game, the pink Yoshi appeared more purple than pink
Gotta
due
go.
to the lighting of this section, making players believe that these were hints at the secret Yoshi being unlockable somewhere. However, even to this day, there's been no word of
Scanning ahead.
Knife deployed. One suppressed.
Reloading. This way.
Go ahead. Stand your ground.
Our spike's down.
Spike down B.
I got spike.
One enemy remaining.
I would
Why did I get everything? Oh my gosh. I got everything, bro.
I'm out of here.
We are Valorant. We
I'm
are
out of here.
fighters.
Gotta go. I'm out of here.
Kill all your opponents.
Get out of my way.
You should
Revealing
run.
area.
Enemy spotted mid.
Knife deployed. One suppressed.
Clean.
Bullseye. Enemy killed.
Spike planted.
Wall raised.
Suppressing. Two suppressed.
One enemy
Got it.
remaining.
Reloading.
Time to die. Don't make a fuss.
Time to stock back up.
This is the only phantom that gives me aimbot.
Gotta go.
All the other phantoms don't. This is the only one that gives me aimbot.
Go, go, go.
Knife deployed.
Revealing area.
Many enemies.
There they
Too
are.
slow.
Someone's in
My
defense
ult's ready.
spawn.
Reloading.
Yikes.
Gotta go. There we go. Down.
Healing.
Shocking.
One enemy remaining.
Down.
Cooling down.
I see her.
Wall raised.
Your duty is not over.
Shutting them down. One suppressed.
Do not fight us.
Match point.
Oh, look. They're desperate. Get up.
Scanning ahead.
Shutting them down. One suppressed.
Reloading.
Spikes down.
Spike down
Spike
B.
retrieved.
I am the hunter! Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
Aw, thought you'd try harder.
Attackers win.
Game over.
That Teho got too cocky. Said free elo. Oh, 93?
I'm 12 RR away from ground floor.
Nice, dude.
Match found.
Let's do this.
YouTube, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the truth about buying sneakers from StockX. In yesterday's video, we looked at GOAT. Today, it's StockX's turn. Let's get straight into this unboxing. Let me know your latest experience buying from StockX.
Search for the good in all things. If there is none to be found, then act decisively.
A bunch of times
Violently.
before, hey, I'm going to stop using StockX. At the same time, it's very hard to stop using the platform that is the market for sneakers. I'm going to say they really are. When you go to any event, everyone's going out their phone to check those prices. So it's hard to not use this platform. Sometimes
I'm out of here.
Need to, and on this sneaker, I had to. I really had no choice.
She's are you gonna go mid or are you gonna
This
go
is a
to the
must-have.
side?
I had no choice. I needed them. It's a must. I did not want to pay extremely high prices, and my bid got accepted.
What is that?
After all, my bid got accepted.
Going
so
A,
I
whole
will
game.
take that
Suppressing.
all day, every day. It is
Alright.
much better paying.
Fire suppressed.
I didn't pay that crazy of a price, which is cool. Size 11, my personal size. These are the Travis Scott Jumpman Jacks. Travis Scott's own sneaker. It's his own shoe. It is not a retro. This box is unique. Alright, so you pop it off the top.
Spike planted.
26 and 25 cents for shipping, everything included.
26
Good
deadlock.
Jumpman Jack, TR Travis
Last
Scott.
player standing.
Sale muslin dark mocha. Here we go. Let's get into this. Let's pop this box open. Inside you have the red.
We gotta
Very
pick.
nice.
We
And
move
then
in.
we have
Got it?
the tissue paper. Let's take a look. Let's see. Are they individually wrapped? Yes, they are. All right. These are individually wrapped. Let's pull them out. Let's get them out. And I want to take a look at, yeah, there it is. That nice little dust bag that we get as well. I like the extra packaging, the extra details. This dust bag is not a little after. It's actually a nice size big dust bag. Not that I personally ever put my shoes in dust bags. I don't know anyone that really does, but really a nice little detail with the Travis Scott, the Jumpman logo there on the dust bag. Now, let's take a look at the shoes, and then we're going to talk about the truth about buying shoes from StockX. And here they are. We have the Travis Scott Jumpman Jack. The Jack Renwick will wear off with use over
Enemy
time. So they're telling you
Spike
that
planted.
it's gonna wear off as soon as they're talking about the bottom. The Jack logo's on the bottom.
Last player standing.
Gotta go.
Jumpman Jacks. We have the extra laces. You have the white laces already on the sneakers. And of course, what we're here to talk about in this video, the StockX hang tag.
Neon,
Let's talk about StockX.
perhaps I will
The
knock
truth
an arrow in
about buying
advance.
sneakers from StockX.
There is very little time to react
you don't know
once
what
you
you're
start
gonna
the
get.
fight.
Ready? Because now that these are in hand, it's time to legit check them. We have to make sure that this is a 100% authentic pair. Now, I'm going to be honest, because this is a new model, something brand new, we've never
I'm
seen
outta
before.
here.
I don't have any
It's down.
right?
Guns up.
Hard to
Get
legit
deadly.
check. So gonna have to trust StockX on this one for the most part.
Knife deployed.
But we could still do LED.
Four suppressed.
Smell the food. We can take a look at the size tag, make sure the font and everything looks good. The size tag.
Spike down B.
Look at the stitching. As I was editing the micro.
Thank you.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Living with opioid addiction can be a struggle. Supplicate with counseling is...
Bro? Exclusive. That's what I like to hear. You got the sample. Oh, you got the real exclusive. Damn, I ain't know you meant it like that. That was hard. You're looking for cash credit.
Listen up. Kill them before they kill us.
Alright guys, so there's a cool little backstory on these shoes right here. So this shoe right here is a sample, which means they were never released to the public. It's an OVO Jordan 8. You guys don't know what OVO is, that's Drake's brand. So this is a Drake Jordan 8. It's also part of the Calipari. There's a black one and a white one. They're OVO Jordan 8 Caliparis. So the story behind it is, I don't know how old you guys are, but back when I was in high school,
shutting them down.
Fan of the Kentucky basketball team. Like he even walked out with them to one of the games and was throwing up air balls. I don't know if you guys remember. Enemy spotted A. It was really cool with the Kentucky basketball team, and the coach of the Kentucky team was Coach Calipari. So I'm guessing Drake was really cool with Coach Calipari. It was the Calipari OVO pack.
Spike planted.
So I'm not 100% sure if they were given to like the Kentucky basketball team.
I need to make my lips too.
Family of Drake. Long story short, there's not many of them. Jordan 8 OVO Calipari pack. They surfaced back in like 2018. So
last player standing.
If I can't.
Angel, you're not gonna help me shoot the little thingy?
Would you rather me help you shoot the thingy or kill the people?
Help me shoot the thingy so I can kill the people.
Bragging rights if you
Boy,
get
they were
first
shooting
pick.
at me.
There was a wall right there they can't shoot through.
I was on top.
There's still a wall.
Boy, there was no wall.
It's like a risky shoe for us to buy.
So how did he kill me if they couldn't shoot
We
me?
would pass, but I really appreciate you bringing it in, bro. Dope, bro.
You weren't in the corner. We're outside.
Let's get this done.
I said, hold on. I appreciate you, bro. Have a good one. I got something for you, bro.
The hunt begins. Four suppressed.
How we doing? Thank you guys. What's up, bro? How are you guys? Good? Chilling? How are y'all? Bro, welcome in, bro. Welcome in. Damn, you got a gym, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. What, you play for Warriors? Alright.
Last player standing.
Meaning you had to be a player on a Warrior athletic team, like the basketball or football team, to get these. You couldn't just go in the store and buy these. These were literally only given to players on a Oregon.
Spike planted.
So obviously,
Your duty is not over.
Oregon athletes are supposed to have these. I think there's a rule you're not supposed to sell them, but my guy here clearly doesn't care. So yeah, that's for those of you guys that don't know.
Enemy spotted B.
Last player standing.
We probably wouldn't take this. We bought Oregon. It's so hard for us to lose. I know what they go for. They have the market. It's just for us, they don't.
Nailed them.
Five first stage on Fairfax. Player exclusive, something like that. But I know how many you want to.
I will fulfill my purpose.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, that's what I know they go for. But in here, we had a pair of the 4s and the 3s, like the black 3s.
Go, go.
Over a year. That's why we probably just went in. But I know what they go for. That's crazy. You graduated? What position were you? Damn, that's crazy, bruh. So every player got them? You got multiple colors too? That's crazy. That's lit though. Try Soul Stage. It's on Fairfax.
Suppressing.
Or I mean Flight Club too. But they can sign. Oh yeah. Soul Stage. It's on Fairfax.
It's you and me.
Yeah, come on, yeah, Ooh, you want to do right here? Come on. Let's do it right here. Come on.
Go ahead.
My territory! My room! I have them now!
Appreciate y'all, bro. I appreciate
Spike planted. Last player standing. Flawless.
It's over here.
I got your backs. Just,
You want a cash or store
you know,
credit?
from the front.
Or a check, of course.
Gotta go.
You said you had a store? You still, it's still open? No, I don't want it. Are you done with it?
I'm just kind of getting off the shoe game, going more towards the real estate.
Clear to engage. Weapons hot.
Get the cash ready. I feel you, bro.
Knife deployed. One suppressed.
No, stop talking. Kill me.
Last player standing. Spike
dead.
planted.
You fought well.
Yo, you're not real, bro.
Every one of these is like a heater.
Get ready. I go fast. Gotta go. I'm out of here.
Style and substance.
Go, go, go.
In the GMC's.
Through the calm, I see. Through the storm, I fight.
Shutting them down. One suppressed.
I'm gonna go through real
Help!
I'm closer to 10, bro. I don't think I'm gonna be able to go over 10. I'll be honest with you. I know you were 4.
Last player standing.
Some of that also. We gotta make money in this business fine. If you want to do like 11 store credit,
Yo, they're B.
use that
I
90
mean
store,
A.
but I do 10 for 11 credit just because I get it, bro. It's really good shit.
Down.
Spike planted.
They're all just using a lot of them. He used to go for 2+. Now he's only going for like a stack.
I'm out of here.
I'm over them.
I want to work with you, bro. I know you. I appreciate you bringing us all your shit, bro. Trust me. But like 10 is probably top, bro. Yeah, I'll do 10 too. Yeah. So you check, of course. What you gonna do with the money, bro? What you gonna do to celebrate? Not with the money. What you gonna do to celebrate right now? I don't know if you know. This is probably the most expensive buyout I've done on my video. 10,000. I'm never giving nobody 10,000. So what do you got?
Knife deployed. One suppressed.
I appreciate it.
Many enemies A. Enemy A.
Killed the queen.
For sure. I appreciate it. Hey, Mina. Every good yo.
Last player standing.
88.
Yeah. 10.2. 10.2. 10.2K. Oh boy. I really appreciate it, bro. I was on good look. Yes, sir.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A. Clutch.
That was so
Easy.
cool.
Shout out to yeah, this is crazy. So. Yeah. I'm charging $30
Jet,
today.
you were amazing.
I'm playing. How are you, bro? Chillin'? Come on. How you doing, bro? What? Challenge for what? Oh no, where'd you get him?
In the bag right here.
For Wasteland? Oh, it's a store down.
Let's go.
Suppressing.
Enemy A.
How much you pay?
It's you and me.
Oh, for real? Yeah, nah. Nah, they look real, but the thing is, no, they look real. They look real. Here's the thing. I got
Spike planted.
My territory! My group! I have them now! Stay down!
That's why it's throwing me off. Yeah. Let me just make sure.
Last player standing.
Usually when the real one, it's like when you slap them, the real ones, it's like harder.
Once more into battle. I'm not tired. Are you?
It's like, it's just my technique.
Gotta go!
That's what, I mean, that's why, because they look real. It looks like you came up. The looks can be deceiving sometimes. That's why when I started doing the test, it started throwing me off. This one, let's see. See, this one kind of sounds like a watermelon. This one sounds good. It might just be one of them that.
Break's over.
I'm gonna just rush in with the shorty.
Thing came up.
Knife deployed.
Came up. It was seeming like a coconut at first, but I think it's watermelon.
I am the hunter.
That's watermelon. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Here we go.
Come on.
Die.
Watermelon. Can you tell me how much you paid?
Last player standing.
Watermelon. You paid on her or you want? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're good. On a bush.
Last round before the switch.
Use everything you have. We lose it anyway.
Gotta go!
I'm saying.
Reloading.
Let me show them how they're real. So the real ones sound like watermelon. The fake ones usually sound like coconut.
Into the unknown.
It's watermelons only, baby. Watermelons only around here, baby. Peace.
Suppressing.
The hunt begins.
How are y'all doing today? Ooh. Okay. Are they brand new? Pull this out. I'm not gonna lie.
Watch out! Gotta go!
One enemy
Get
remaining.
wrecked. Go, go, go! There.
You got them from LV or?
It's over.
For those in the market for flavor, try Modelo Spiked Aguas Frescas. Vibrantly refreshing
Switching
flavors
sides.
Inspired by Mexican tradition.
Go, go, go.
Perfect for
Prepare
any
yourselves.
fiestas. Modelo
We
Spiked
fight
Aguas
once
Frescas.
again.
Boldly authentic.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
What
Gotta go.
were you looking for? Around 7K. You want a cash or store credit? Cash. Let me see. What size is it? It's a 9?
Ready.
You get something else too? No, it was just these. It was just these. Okay.
Knife deployed.
Scanning ahead. Found them.
You got the blue ones also? For real? Damn. You guys got the whole collection. We've only had it.
Reloading. Reloading.
Okay.
Reloading.
Yo behind ya.
Reloading. One down.
Last player standing. Spike down A.
Don't get shot. Human brains are hard to replace.
We'd probably sell it for 6. That's why he wanted to pay 45. What's the lowest you would do? I'm still in this. 5.5. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I'm from Lebanon. Lebanese. Where you guys from? Okay. Cool. Okay. Shway Arabic. Shway.
Shutting them down.
Area.
Yeah. I'd say just keep it.
One suppressed.
For safety, we have to make at least 1.5. So. Hunsis or
Perfect.
Last player standing.
Keep those, right?
It is a size, top one. So it's a size 9 online, StockX, 3,800. The bigger the size goes, the more.
Match point.
I'll survive a dent or two. Can't say the same for you fragile units.
He's from Pakistan. Paki.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Wow. You gotta learn how to cook, bro. You don't know how to cook none of your own food, man.
We fight to win.
Scanning ahead. Multiple enemies deep.
Enemy down. Go. Our spike carrier is killed.
Spike down B.
Yeah, we have to put the shoe in there.
I got the spike.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
For a pair of shoes, bro. This is probably the most expensive shoe.
Spike planted.
100 man? This is probably the most expensive shoe I've ever bought. Like for like one shoe, 4,500. I don't think I've ever seen. Yeah. So this is the most expensive shoe I've bought yet to date on the video, man. So comment down below if you got a good price. I didn't think she was gonna do it for 4,500, bro. But it still got a way of words. Yeah. But and they said they had the blue and the green one, bro. Hopefully they tell them to bring the blue and green one. Yeah. What?
Defenders win.
Another one? Oh my god. Oh, there's this one. Blue? It's like a small size. Brand new? Of course. Yeah. Dog, how much do you spend with LV? You get whatever colorway you want. Yeah. That's cool, bro. How much you want? 5, bro. You sold this? What color was the last one you sold us? It was a red one, right? No, last one was a white one. A white one? Yeah. Hey, you want these, bro? Your size. He said he's talking to somebody that already offered 7,000. A white one, okay, yeah. If you guys don't remember, he sold us a white pair, size 16 that Mo bought. Mo ended up buying. Mo was literally coming out. But, alright. No, when we called him, he was like lit in the club. So he was just like, yeah. But, yeah, he said 5. What size is this?
Alrighty.
7.5. Let me see what I can do. Yeah,
I'm gonna stream after I play this out real quick.
Just the size, they're not going for nothing.
Bro, 3 is like retail, like which?
What was retail?
27.50 for 5.
I'll do 35.
Cool, I'll close it right now.
For credit. We're down store credit. Alright, bet.
No, let's not end the stream just yet. We'll wait.
Match found.
Let's do this.
Any chance they'll let us through? Fine, we'll do it the hard way.
Last player standing. Spike down B.
Gotta go!
Reyna, time to hunt.
I'm out of here. Go, go, go!
Charlie Mike, let's move.
Spike down C. Reloading.
You want a piece of this?
I have the spike.
Spike's down.
Spike down C. Last player standing.
Oh. What? Hi, fight's not over, you know. I'm out of here. Go, go, go! Go, go, go!
No prisoners.
Gotta go!
Revealing area. Found them. Reloading.
Shutting them down. Two suppressed. Spikes down.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
Gotta go! Ow!
It wasn't even a bomb.
Go, go, go!
They aren't
I'm outta
impervious.
here.
We can do this.
Gotta go! Go, go, go!
Keep that Euro contained.
Scanning ahead. There they are.
Enemy spotted.
Suppressing. 3 suppressed.
Guys falling.
Reloading.
This is the
The fuck?
Enemy spotted.
Last player standing.
If you're not a good shot today, don't worry. There are other ways to be useful.
Gotta go! I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Deep breath. Scanning ahead.
Enemy spotted.
Suppressing.
Go, go, go.
1 suppressed.
I've got your trail.
Last player standing.
Look your enemy in the eye. It helps with accuracy.
Go, go, go. I'm out of here. Go, go, go.
Dig deep.
Revealing area. Found them.
Enemy spotted.
Shutting them down.
Here we go. Huh. Enemy C.
Still in sight.
144 raise.
You're not. Light planted.
Last player standing.
Listen up. Kill them before they kill us.
Eyes up.
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted. A.
Knife deployed. No one walks away.
Barrier created. Light planted.
Reloading.
One enemy remaining.
Ingat ka. Don't get stabbed. Bad way to go. Gotta go! Go, go, go! I'm out of here. Gotta go!
Enemy spotted.
Revealing enemy.
Flashbang.
Gotta go!
Shutting them down.
Fire in the hole! Go, go, go! Enemy!
Spike down, C. One enemy remaining.
Spike retrieved.
I'm out of here. Shortcut!
Link.
My ult is ready. Death is
Good shit, babe.
Oh my god.
Let
Let them try to get through me.
If we could go B
Gotta
again,
go.
I could bait out the Raze and kill her.
I'm out of here.
Build like a bead.
Awesome sis. Awesome Noah. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Read.
I can't shoot my gun.
I have the spike.
Enemy spotted. Back off! Opponent killed. Embarrassing.
Enemy spotted. B. Take this!
One enemy remaining.
There.
Gotta go! Don't worry. Your life won't go to waste.
I'm out of here.
We
Go,
are
go, go.
strong because we are together. Don't forget that.
Go, go, go! Gotta go! I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'll show them. Lintik kayo. Gotta go.
Enemy C. Our spike's down.
Spike down A.
Knife deployed.
I have the spike.
One suppressed.
Enemy spotted B.
Spike's down.
Enemy spotted.
Spike down B.
Radiant kill.
One enemy remaining. player standing.
What?
Clutch.
Go, go, go! Remember, bullets hurt. Go, go, go! Gotta go! Go, go, go!
Kill all your opponents.
Scanning ahead.
Reloading.
I've got your trail.
Suppress it.
Enemy spotted.
One suppressed. Spikes down.
Spike down B. Last player standing.
Gotta go!
Last round in the half.
Spend your cash. Don't look back. Add one.
Who's next?
Enemy spotted.
Reloading.
They will cover.
Last player standing.
Fire in the hole!
Switching sides.
I will fulfill my purpose.
Tighten our defenses.
Revealing area.
Suppressing. One suppressed.
Gray's dead.
I'm out of here.
Spike down A.
Enemy A. Enemy spotted A.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
They have seen our power.
Rana, clock sticking. I'm out of here. Go, go, go. Gotta go.
Clear to engage. Weapons hot. Knife deployed.
There they are.
I look you think they might go see.
Ray's dead.
Yeah, they just smoke C. Yeah, they're flashing C.
Spike planted.
Enemy
Calling down.
Cutting their vision.
Reloading.
78 Omen.
Last player standing.
Be at peace.
My advice? Don't get shot. I'm out of here.
Survive.
Shutting them down.
Spike down A.
Spike spot.
Go, go, go! Gotta go!
One enemy remaining. Last player standing. Spike planted.
Nice.
If you must fall, then fall near me.
I'm out of here.
Charlie Mike, let's move. Shutting them down.
Found them.
Enemy spotted C.
Last player standing. Spike planted.
Kill confirmed.
Get ready. I go fast.
Suppress it.
Revealing area. Found them.
Enemy spotted. Still in sight.
Go away.
Spike planted.
My turn.
Last player standing.
Let's make a plan, then execute.
Gotta go.
for you, hermanita.
Suppress it!
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted A.
Spike planted.
Enemy spotted B.
Last player standing. Match point.
Don't get shot. Human brains are hard to replace.
Go, go, go!
Angel, buy the regen. Women are better.
Knife deployed!
Revealing area.
Enemy spotted.
Enemies, attacker spawn!
They're both right there.
Angel, you fucking
Go, go,
suck.
go!
Yeah.
Last player standing.
Shitty ass bitch. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Tell me what I am.
Oh yeah, you a bitch.
Flawless.
Uh-huh.
Attackers win.
No.
I'm leaving too then. Holy fuck. Alrighty. I'll see y'all later. Peace out, girls.